Wait, okay, testing. Maybe stream can hear us. Hello, everyone. If you can't hear us, then you'll probably tell us. But welcome to episode 5 of the Sharp Engine podcast. Sharp Engine without Sharp, because Sharp couldn't be here today. But we have our first interview episode with none other than Phoenix Shais. Hello, Shais. Would you like to say anything to the
Hello,
people?
Hassan. How are you?
Wait, you went the
Um,
wrong way. You went the
no,
wrong
no, no,
way.
no, trust me. I'm sure
Um,
it's that
fair enough.
way. Whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay,
It's part
cool.
it's part of the charm. You gotta look the
Of
wrong way.
course, that's a streamer charm.
That's it.
So yeah, hopefully let us know in chat if you can hear us and if the sound. Okay, Megan's letting us know. Sounds good.
Wonderful.
Um, and yeah, hopefully everything doesn't crash and burn. If I need
Hello,
to be a bit
Hassan's
louder,
chat.
then let me know that as well. Um, but
See, the
yeah.
overlay still works because that's my peach. Not my
Oh, for
at,
real?
but
It's not your
you
at.
know,
Should I add the
I
at
do
to
play
it?
Pink Peach.
I could add that. But yeah. But yeah. There's quite a few things that we could that we're looking to get through in your illustrious career,
Yeah,
Chase.
I hear you've been prepped.
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of digging. I've been doing a lot of information. What's it called? Mining, or whatever you call it. Um, and first of all, I guess, how long have you actually been playing Chase? I know you've, I know how long you initially started with like Phoenix stuff,
hmm
but how long? When did you first like find out about Smash, and when did you actually play it?
So I played Smash in like what, sixth form, I think, maybe a little bit before that. Um, where one of my mates, really old school melee guy, Moth, who most of you probably don't know, he was like, "Oh, you should come around and play like some PM." And we played a bunch of PM. I was terrible, but I bought a game controller and we'd go around like every now and again, play some
Okay,
games. And he lived near school as well. So sometimes we just go after school or whatever.
okay,
Um, but then, I didn't really like. I enjoyed it enough that I'd keep playing, but I wasn't like my game. I liked Street Fighter and Marvel at the time. Street Fighter
hmm
4, Marvel 3, Golden Age of fighting games.
yeah.
Um, but then I got to uni, and there was no Marvel, and there was no Street Fighter, and there was no one to play with. But there was. I found Kyran on Facebook. He was like, "I want to play PM with people," and I was like,
Wait,
"Well, I guess I."
hold that thought, Chase. We'll get to that point soon. But I just want to
Okay.
hear about your, what's it called, with your about your first ever Smash Origins. Because yes, I know that anyone seeing you around and who knows you, like knows that you have like you played a lot of fighting games and you're really into them, right? I remember even
Yeah.
seeing you around LLL and Mercs and stuff like that with your your curly mustache shirt, which is like a
Yeah.
Yipes reference, right, to his commentary.
That's it.
Was it in Marvel 3 or Marvel 2 that he first made that reference?
Marvel 2. Yeah.
So it's pretty super old reference.
It's a
But
super old reference.
what's it called? So I'm aware that you started playing like fighting games. Maybe the first thing you ever started with was like the Street Fighter 2 on like the Sega Mega Drive, right?
Like if you want to go that far back,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 1. But
Yeah.
like the first game I ever like took seriously, like half seriously, would have been like Street Fighter 4. But then the first game I got any good at was MK9.
Okay. Because it's interesting. I feel like not that many people like back in the day it used to be fighting games used to be more of like a mainstream thing, right? Like, I think even people think back to Street Fighter 2 in arcades, and it had like it literally made like billions from arcade.
Yeah, so
Like,
Street Fighter 2 is like currently the most sold fighting game, I think, or at least the most sold Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5 is finally catching up, or maybe it's
okay,
just overtaken.
okay,
Um,
but it's something that you would have played with your cousins, right? If I'm correct.
yeah, exactly.
And so, actually, what can you tell me about some of the time you? What can you tell me, in fact, about Beyblade on the PlayStation One?
Beyblade on the PlayStation 1 is a goated game that you shouldn't play because it's an incredible experience, but you had to be there. You had to be there like 20 years ago.
Okay, I've heard it's quite a brutal game.
As far as I'm aware, right? We never quite figured this out as a kid. But as far as I'm aware, there's a bar, right? You let it rip when it hits the max because big speed, big
Hmm.
wins. But I'm pretty sure after that you're just watching the Beyblade go. Like I
Okay.
was always like trying to figure out. We were pressing buttons. Don't get me wrong. But I'm
There wasn't
sometimes
any
the Bit
advanced
Beast would
tech.
come out. I was pretty sure that we found the Bit Beast combination, but never worked consistently. I think you just let it rip and watch. But
So
the
wait,
game is
they would
very
not
good.
ever like consistently come out. You'd sometimes just let it rip and then nothing would happen.
I mean, bear in mind, no. So you'd always let it rip, but like
Okay.
sometimes you just watch the Beyblade just spin around. And like to be fair, I was like what, a child, so I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just happy to press buttons thinking I'm doing stuff.
Okay.
But I love that game. I wanna try it again and see if there's actually anything to it, but I'm pretty sure it is just let it rip.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a advanced tech, like a Beyblade competitive community. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to pull out. I just want my little, Nardwuar moment of being able to say, what do you know about Beyblade on PS1? But yeah, so because I've heard you did take MKX quite seriously, as well as Marvel 3. So it's interesting that you ended up going to uni and transitioning specifically to PM. So can you maybe tell me more about, was it just down to the fact that there wasn't many fighting game players around, or?
Yeah, pretty much. There was like one guy who played Marvel 3, and I saw him like once in a blue moon at Gaming Sock. So we'd play Marvel 3 whenever he was there. But for the most part, it was, well, I also like playing PM with my friends.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just play PM with these guys. And it was fun. I mean, Smash is fun. So it's like, well, I can't play the games that I want to play. I still enjoy this, so I'm going to do this every week instead, and then maybe see if I can find anyone who plays Street Fighter. And every now and again, someone to play with me, but for the most part, yeah, we just play Smash. And then, we kind of like built a huge scene at Cov Uni in the end. So it just really just encouraged us all to keep playing. It was a great time.
Yeah, because I've heard initially it started with you, Kyran, Mo, Z all playing together at the Gaming Socks. I know Mo was like the president of the Gaming Society. In fact, so I was wondering, Team Phoenix didn't necessarily exist when you first joined, when you just joined people at uni, meeting them for the first time, playing and, socializing around the game. And so what was that early time like? Like, what was it like, making those first friendships and stuff like that?
I mean, it was just like, you go to uni and you don't know anyone. So, like, you go to societies and stuff to find people that have common interests, right? And then, so it was cool to see that. Especially because the Gaming Sock at the time was, like, more of, like, a tabletop society.
Really? Okay.
They kind of, like, the first Gaming Society night, so, like, the freshers one, I guess, was, like, a huge sweat fest. Because they were not ready for so many people to come in.
Okay.
Right? And it was, like, in, like, some basement in the uni. And
Really?
people were just there, like, playing Werewolf and other like tabletop game stuff, but they had a projector, so I think Kyran bought his Wii and we just plugged it into that and just played Smash. But then,
in fact, I don't know. You see, because I need to ask like Westers to make me another layout. So I've got no way of actually showing like images on stream. But wait, I'll show you an image from, maybe back in these early days. Wait, I'll send it to you and then I'll show it on the stream. So this is, let me find a way of adding it to. I think I'll just like lay it over.
You can just drag and drop it into a scene.
In fact, I need to add. I added the image capture of the. I added the source at the wrong window. 1 sec. So yeah, this is what. This is a little thing. Can you tell me anything about this, Shais? What are we looking at here?
Completely forgot about this. This was, I think, I don't know if anyone remembers Salty or Jake or Faulty even. I think he changed his name too.
Faulty.
But so me and Kyran were both in the same building at uni, so he just have his Wii on him, and there was just TVs all over to do work on, right? So every now and again, if we both had a free at the same time, we was like, yeah, sure, go on, let's get up. So we're not disturbing anyone, and yeah, it was a couple of cheeky games of Peach Lucario between lessons. Why
Fair
not?
enough. So was that something that would like be a usual occurrence then? You just like, hang out and play in between like lectures and stuff like that?
It didn't happen like a lot, but it happened a fair few times.
Okay.
Like you saw in the picture, right? It's some laggy school TV. It's not the greatest thing in the world,
Yeah,
but
I can imagine.
it is, it was a lot of fun.
Okay then, cool. I suppose, what was it like in terms of moving on from there into actually deciding, oh, we want to run something, we want to, like, draw people in and do something regular? Because I know you moved into, like, the Phoenix pub, right?
Yeah.
Like was it the attic or, like, the second floor?
Yeah, so they had like an events room upstairs.
Okay.
and they said we could have it. We bought our own CRTs. I used to carry a CRT from my room, which is by the train station in Coventry, 20 minutes to the middle of Coventry
Yeah, I've done that walk a couple
every
times.
week. Yeah. But I want to say, my memory is a little hazy on it, but I want to say that we did that out of pure laziness. I think we decided it was easier to run a bi-weekly than it was to attend other bi-weeklies.
I see. Was there much going
Because
on around?
Midlands at the time was popping. We
Okay.
did go to a few other things, right? Because Leicester was pretty big at the time. Birmingham had a pretty good scene. I don't know if they had a weekly, but they had a pretty big scene, so they would come to us.
Who
Yeah,
would
it
have
was
been
basically.
TOing in Leicester? Would that be Wills? And would it be Boz in Birmingham?
It wouldn't
Or-
have been Boz yet. And Boz was
Okay.
way later. But it would have been, yeah, Wills, Brado. I don't remember if Calzin was still TOing at the time, but
Okay.
he was obviously still active. There was a huge scene in Leicester at the time. They were probably like the biggest in the Midlands.
Wow,
So, yeah.
how many people would we be sort of thinking? Because I've heard crazy things like, I know like at one Heart of Gaming in London, there was like 100-man or 90-man weekly for PM one time. Because people underestimate, like, PM was, because ultimately it was the Brawl players and the Melee players had a one
PM
game
was
to
the
share
game.
together.
PM,
So it was
yeah.
like a sensation in the UK, pretty much.
When I started playing Smash, PM was the biggest game.
Hmm.
Because yeah, people had come off Brawl and it felt more like Melee. And then people like me, I didn't play Melee as a kid. The game felt hard, like control and stuff, right? But PM has that. It's slightly easier just off the bat. So I didn't want to play Melee. There's no characters I want to play. Movement feels weird, so I'd play PM, and like obviously that means more people get their friends into PM. And then there was like a huge shift later, but for a while PM was easily the biggest game.
And so in terms of moving from those bi-weeklies that you used to run, I heard from Kyran that they weren't necessarily big enough to actually run brackets, but the transition to an actual like tournament, which you can tell us the name of the first tournament, because I know you're probably still quite proud of it. Actually, who came up with it between you guys?
It was me as a joke.
Okay.
But it was the kind of joke.
It's
that
like
I
the
knew
working
that-
title sort of.
Yeah.
joke
It was the
that
working
ended up being
title,
the name.
like project name.
Mhm.
But I was like, I thought of it and I was like, this is hilariously bad, and I'll say it as a joke, but I know that if I say it, it will stick.
Yeah.
Rise from the Smashes,
Rise
classic
of the
tournament
Smashes.
name.
Yeah. From Team Phoenix.
It's at the Phoenix.
Yes.
You know, and also like it's Coventry. I mean, Coventry has like a whole affiliation with the Phoenix because they got bombed to hell in World War II, and the whole point is that the city rose from the ashes. So it's kind of thematic. But yeah, Rise from the Smashes. I wouldn't say that like the weeklies were too small to run a bracket, but it's more that like we didn't know how many people would come, and we were split between Melee and PM, and there's kind of no interest in it either. Really,
Okay.
it was just a big Smash Fest. That was kind of the fun. It was to meet new people. We met a bunch of the guys at Warwick, guys at Birmingham, and just play a lot of games. We'd have like a crew battle on the projector,
Nice.
stuff like that. It was more for fun than it was. But then we were like, let's run a tournament.
Okay. Would there
which-
been? I know one notable name might have been like Rash from Warwick. Would there have been anyone else that people might remember? Because I know there's also a Murtag who apparently was decent at Shrek Super Slam, right? Apparently he was like some top player
All
in
of
that
Warwick
game.
played Shrek Super Slam.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's only like 10 people in the world that play that game, so you're probably a top player if you play it.
Yeah. Warwick.
But Murtag's one of the other big names everyone would remember. Cabs,
Of
London
course.
legend.
Yeah,
from
Cavs.
Warwick.
How could I forget?
And then I'm not sure who else people would know, but there was a huge amount of Warwick players at the time. I guess there's Picky who's still about, but I don't think he was there back then.
Okay.
But Picky's probably the most known Warwick player at this point now, other than like Rash, right?
Probably, yeah.
We had like a fun little rivalry with Warwick. We'd crew battle at every opportunity. We lost at every opportunity too,
Really?
until the final crew battle at Heir, where we won, and then we never played them again.
Oh, which air would that have been?
It must have been like Heir 2 or 3. I think it was Heir 2.
Okay. Yeah, that adds up, I guess. Well, that would have been like 2015 then. That's interesting. Because
Maybe? Yeah, probably.
I suppose interest in PM sort of dropped off a little bit after that, but we'll get to that eventually. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about Rise from the Smashes? Maybe a little bit of the early PM tournaments that you might have run. Was there weren't any from what I actually don't know much about the second one, but I don't believe there was melee at the first one, right?
Rise from the Smashes.
Yeah, the first Rise
No,
from
it
the
was a
Smashes.
multi-game event.
Oh, okay.
We had both, but PM was our primary game. Like, we liked PM. That being said, all of our setups were running at 50 hertz because of the weird PM color issue.
No
So,
way.
on the day, yeah, all of the PM setups pretty much in black and white to make them run smoothly.
Wow.
Um,
Wait, what's that? Was there so there was a color? If you played PM in color, it would only run in 50 hertz.
so PM, or rather, Brawl that you play PM on is the NTSC version of the game, right?
Okay. Okay.
And you know how like NTSC melee can sometimes be black and white,
Mhm.
depending on your CRT. It's that. And a while later, I found a fix in the settings that you can use. But for a long time, people were either playing black and white or like getting lucky with CRTs.
Wait, is that an issue with because of the PAL CRTs then?
Yeah, PAL
Oh,
CRTs
okay.
don't like NTSC signals,
Okay.
so
That makes sense.
they can do it in black and white, or they can do it at 50 hertz.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's weird. It's weird
Yeah,
that black
that-
and white's the thing that makes it work, but
Yeah, but the crazy thing is that probably wasn't even the worst thing to happen on the day.
Really?
We turned up to the venue ready to set up, and like the bar, they hadn't forgot we were coming, but they'd thrown away all their tables and chairs. It was really weird. Sounds like you already heard about that one.
I have heard about the limited amount of tables. Yeah.
There was nothing, so we just basically took stools from like the pub side of it and just set everything up on like stools and on like little. There was like a stage that was used to set ups.
Really? Okay.
Wherever we could put a setup, we put one there. It was the most bodged together thing, but you know what? It worked.
Yeah.
And standards were lower back then.
Definitely, right? I suppose so how do you remember how the day might have went or how like you felt at the end of it? Because it would have been your first ever bigger event, right? And how many am I thinking like maybe like around 30 to 40 people might have turned up or
Yeah, it was about 30. We hit cap
okay.
pretty quickly.
Was that 32
and
I'm
our
guessing?
cap, I think, was 32 for each game,
Oh,
where
wow.
most people were playing
Okay,
both.
yeah.
I can't remember if that's true though. But yeah, like I remember the Phoenix tournaments have always kind of taken off way faster than they deserve to. like yeah, random tournament top of a pub in Coventry of all places. And I remember like Prof signed up and we were like, wait, Professor Pro, isn't he like the best in the country? Wait, what? And then like all of Bristol drove up.
So you had
and then
like Frenzy and Candy and
yeah, exactly.
those are
The
names I
Candy
remember
Car.
at least.
Frenzy, who I think was a Samus at the time, at least
Yeah.
in EM. Yeah, so they all drove up. But yeah, no, overall, I remember being really happy with the event. That's why we ran more. It went pretty well when you consider there was no tables or chairs and all of
Yeah.
our TVs are black and white. And the stream setup was because I only had a. I mean, first of all, it was amazing that there was a stream setup. No one had streams back in the day, but from my infant days of wanting to be a Call of Duty YouTuber, I had a HD PVR.
Yeah. Nice.
But the problem with the PVR is it can do component in and out, but it can't do composite in and out.
Yeah. Okay.
So we didn't have any component TVs. So for the projector, it was great because you can component in, component out, and no one cares about the lag back. Like we were all terrible.
Okay.
But for the CRTs, we needed composite, and we didn't have a splitter, so we didn't even really know splitters existed. So we had one magical CRT that had AV out. So you feed into it and feed out the TV into the stream setup.
So yeah, I remember. I actually I never actually got into like playing COD much, but those would have been like the Hopage ones, right? Those are the ones that everyone used to talk about. Yeah, it was either that or a Dazzle. Those were like the go-to for like video capture back in the day.
Yeah, Dazzle was the cheap one that would be fine.
Yeah,
but,
everyone.
I had to get me a HD PVR. I was.
You're on the higher end. You had high ambitions even back then.
That's it.
But yeah, fair enough. So it went well, from what I've heard, and people sort of enjoyed it. So you went on to run two more. Is there anything much? I haven't heard much about Rise 2. Is there anything that really sticks out for you at least?
Yeah, Westfalls came.
Really? For PM and Melee, Westpools?
Yeah.
In Coventry?
Yeah,
No way.
this is what I mean about how we have no right for these things to escalate so quickly.
How was he even in the country? Like, what was he even there for?
I think he went to. It was right before Beast. We were the weekend before Beast.
Okay.
So he.
But why would you... Surely there must have been like a Kickstart or something at least.
Yeah. So there was a Kickstart
Okay.
on the Sunday, and we were on the Saturday. And then I basically just messaged him. I was like, "Hey, I know you're in England. There's a tournament. Do you want to come to it?"
You messaged him yourself?
I messaged him on Facebook.
Okay.
Fully not expecting him to reply, and then he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'm in." And then he came up.
That's so random.
It was a great time. And then on the day or like whatever, he sent me a message like, "Hey, do you mind if I bring a friend with me?" And I was like, yeah, all the pools are made, but who really cares, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, okay, have you ever heard of Baxan? I was like, oh, no.
That's nuts. Yeah,
So
I
we just
remember.
slapped Baxan in the top of someone's pool. I think it was Tamal's pool, and it was a bad time for everyone involved, but it was very fun to watch.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's so sort of like serendipitous, I guess.
Yeah,
But
and then at the third one, Armada said he'll come, and then
wait,
on the
Rise
day
3?
dropped out.
Yeah.
Rise 3, Armada, Android, and Zola signed up.
Okay, but none
and
of
then
them
on the day
turned
just
up?
didn't come. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I recognize
Armada
that from
was
the
tired.
VODs. Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, because Rise 3 was like early 2016, right? So
Probably sounds about right, but I do not remember.
okay, let me. So yeah, that's mad. I didn't realize that you had Americans coming that early into your series. But okay, so Rise 3. I remember. So I was speaking to Kyran about this. Like, from what I saw in the VODs and from what I heard, there was a big transition, obviously, because Nintendo DMCA striked PM, and people were really getting upset about it. PM sort of like really faded away starting then, because that was sort of like the beginning of the end of the game. I know Gimmer stopped running any PM VODs on his channel, and I think he took all of them down.
Yeah,
he?
they all
And a
disappeared.
lot of PM people.
They're on a hard
felt it
drive
was like
somewhere.
No, I think a lot of them ended up getting uploaded on like an alternative channel or something.
Yeah, that was always the end game apparently.
Yeah, and I think that was like the sort of going away time for PM, I guess, the sort of the flame going out, and so that was sort of represented in, I don't believe, did Rise 3 run PM, or
Yeah, we ran PM up until like Smashbox, I want to say.
really? Okay.
I can't remember. I think Smashbox 2 might have been the last PM thing we ran, but I don't know how much PM getting taken down really affected the change.
Okay.
I think people just started shifting over to back to Melee, because I remember for us at the very least, like we would like play a bit of PM, and we had like Smash Fest like every night or every other night. We'd play a bit of PM, play a bit of Melee, and then slowly we realized we were playing a little bit more Melee.
Was it just out of genuine interest from you guys, or?
So Mo, who was the main pusher of Melee,
Okay.
I think he played more of it anyway, just generally. I think he kind of grew up on it, and Z had played a lot of Brawl and a lot of Melee, so it wasn't very hard to make them play that game. And then I was like learning it a lot by just playing them, and getting better at PM makes you better at Melee a little bit too. So yeah, and then I've always said that like when Melee really clicks, it just feels like there's something that I've not felt it in many or if any other games.
Really? Okay.
Like that, the kind of understanding of the game where like things start, and then everything starts to feel really good, right? And then PM, while still fun, it doesn't feel as good anymore. And I'm like, well, why didn't I just play PM? Why didn't I just play Melee instead of PM? And then we ended up shifting our focus into that a little bit. I don't think it really had. It probably didn't help that PM streams were getting taken down and stuff, because when you're less exposed to it, you start losing interest. But I think we kind of naturally started shifting there anyway, and then the whole country was kind of happened everywhere really at once.
Yeah,
less people started signing up to PM, so not only do I now play more Melee, but more people are signing up to Melee. But now this is where my interest, where my focus has to go. Yeah,
that's interesting. It's weird that rather than it being a conscious choice, it's something that just sort of uniformly, like, just faded away, isn't it? In the way that you're sort of describing it. Well, I suppose there were conscious choices around to like not invest in it as much, but in terms of your choice, it seems like it was not stark like break with it.
Yeah, we ran it for as long as we could.
Yeah. Okay, so what can you tell me actually about the transition to a new venue? I knew you moved into the Eclipse Sports Arena. And
Yeah.
so what was that like? I heard a couple of stories like apparently the CRTs drew so much power that partway through Rise 3 like the
The
power like
entire
just
PM
cut.
setups just died. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
good. Um, yeah, maybe it was the drawing of power. Maybe it was the horrible daisy chaining. Who can say? Um, but yeah, Rise 2 and 3. Other than like, yeah. So Westfall's coming to Rise 2 was pretty huge, and it was really cool to watch. Um, and then Rise 3 was really cool in the build up because all the Swedes coming, and the actual tournament happened, and it was fine. They were cool. We needed a new venue. We couldn't keep at the pub, and we found a gaming arena, which was fine. You know, like would I run anything there now? Very unlikely. Maybe something small, although I don't think they exist anymore. But yeah, we just we needed somewhere, and it just made sense. Then they like promised to open up this whole new gaming arena, and I think it was kind of designed for like PC play in mind because it was basically a giant corridor. So we ran like 2 tournaments there, and then we were like, no, this is we have to find something bigger.
Okay, fair enough. Wait, was it have been like some sort of land center taking place? Or...
I think that's what they were going for. I don't know if they ever got there, but they
Okay.
were definitely trying for that.
Fair enough. And so you moved eventually into the box, which is like the sort of enigmatic.
One of my favorite venues of all time.
Really?
I mean,
it actually does what it says on the tin.
It does what it says on the tin.
Massive box.
I
think I might have some images that I might be able to put on stream again.
We called the tournament, so this is another one where like we just couldn't think of a name, and then we were like, well, it's Smash at the Box, Smash in the Box, Smash at the Box, Smash Box. We just kept saying random things like that, and then we just went with it. And then, right, we look it up, and we're like, oh, that's a brand of makeup. Okay, that's whatever.
I've heard about this.
That doesn't matter. It smashes. Who cares? But then the Hitbox released a Smashbox, and we're like,
yeah. Yeah, it's not exactly the most fortunate.
And it happened like in the lead up to Smashbox.
Really? It was announced like the actual like controller.
I'm pretty sure the box was announced in the lead up to Smashbox. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was proper like people have been talking about it for a while. Like it's not something that sprung up out of nowhere, isn't it? The Smashbox. Because I remember it was in development for the longest time, and they had all.
Yeah, it was in like pre-order for a long time, right?
Yeah. And I know people like had like the old models. You'd see like someone in America pull out on the stream, and people would lose their mind because it was like the craziest thing that no one's heard of before. And now everyone just like loses their minds in a different way, not necessarily in the most positive way, but yeah. Right. So yeah, what can you tell me about the choice to actually move there and the decision making and stuff like that?
So it's pretty much kind of what I said. The corridor was too small. Like it's just not feasible. And the box was kind of big. Like we were able to go from running a 60-person tournament to a 120-person tournament. You know, it's huge. It's spacious. It's like in the middle of I don't know what you call that kind of area, but like there was little shops nearby. There was food nearby. It was just so well located.
Was it what's it called? Fargo Village or whatever it's called.
It was Fargo Village. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just such a great location. It was pretty central to Coventry. Like it's not far from the train or from the bus when you can take it in. So it was like great for people to get to, pretty close to where we lived at the time. So it was just a great like kind of thing. A little bit flammable, but that was never a problem.
Yeah. That was the joke that I remember quite a few people making at the time.
Yeah, but the main thing is it was spacious, right? So we could just set up all around the back, and the middle was just empty. You could have some chairs, you could chill. We had like sofas in the middle, people could hang out and just relax. So
I'll flash up an image on stream right now for people to see. Like this is the type of thing it would look like. You can tell like the walls. I don't know what it is. Is it literally just like cork or something
plywood.
like that? Is it
Pretty
just plywood?
sure, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, all of the walls are made out of just this plywood, and yeah, there's a bunch of space there. Wait, I've got another image as well. Let me try and flash this one up. The origins of what was it called? I forgot the name of the emote.
this one.
Do you know what I might have in mind? Look, I'll put it on stream. There we go.
Yeah, go on.
Frenzy's not too happy about something. Wait, there we go.
That is where this came from. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ship took these photos, right?
This was what's he called? The Smash 4 player or the Ultimate player now?
Oh,
What's he called?
not
Jack.
Verd,
Oh,
was it?
oh yeah, it's in the bottom right. Jack Verdun. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
So
Verd
different
came to
him.
these. Yeah, I guess Verd did play a bit of
Yeah, I guess it's
PM at the
Midlands, right?
time.
He's a Midlands
Yeah.
player. So
Yeah, that makes sense. This is such a good photo. It's honestly, you lose when you see Frenzy. You're like, ha, great. It's looking at Jake right next to it.
yeah, I don't know. Do you know what's actually going on here? I have no idea what
I
he's.
think they're playing a set, probably on stream.
Okay. And what would have happened? Is he just like you just catch him in a bad moment?
I don't remember what happened here at all.
That's fair enough. I sent off with Upset Frenzy. Let me get that off. But yeah, so overall, yeah, it seems like the Smashbox series was incredibly like popular. Like I'm looking at the entrants and like Smashbox 1, 105 entrants. Smashbox 2, 131 entrants. Smashbox 3 dipped down a bit. Okay, that was 49.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna have their bad days. Smashbox 4 was a bit of a send-off, I guess. 62 entrants, but ended up bouncing back when it came to Equinox. So yeah, another sort of smash hit, I guess, for...
Yeah,
for,
also Equinox shows the power of just changing your name because it was the exact
Yeah.
the exact same tournament, but it shot the numbers back up. It was a good time.
And you ended up, Smashbox 2 ended up having like Drugged Fox and Homemade Waffles. Was there a compendium at all, or was it just that they were around? Because I remember there might have been a page on Smash EG. I don't remember exactly though.
They were coming to Beast,
Mm-hmm.
so all I had to do was get together enough money to get them to Sweden.
Oh, okay. It wasn't even
so
just
I
to drive up to Coventry. You fully paid for like their ticket and everything.
Yeah, so Beast were organizing getting them from the States to Sweden and back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we bought Brandon's ticket from the States to Coventry, or where, like London, or probably I can't remember now.
Oh, what?
So we
really from America to the UK?
Yeah. We actually got it for like an amazing price,
No
one-way
way.
ticket.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was less than 200 quid. But yeah, so we got him straight, and then I think for Drug Fox, we just had to fly him to Sweden. I forget how it was, but it worked out where we basically Beast were willing to pay most of that money anyway because of that. So we just had to raise a much more manageable amount of money to get them.
Yeah, so...
And it also meant that because we were on the same weekend as Kickstart again, so we not only got them to that tournament, we got them to Kickstart straight after. So it was super value. Was it
Kickstart... Sorry, was it Smashbox 2? I have a vague memory of this, but I don't know what happened. Where it had to be played in like someone's house at the end, or...
Kyran's front room grand finals.
Okay,
just like it
what
used
happened
to be.
there? Can you tell me much about that, or no?
The guy running the venue was just having a horrible day and he wanted to go home, pretty much.
Really?
Okay. I think he was told the tournament finishes at 9, even though we'd booked it till 10.
Okay.
And then he was like, look, I'm going home. And then we were like, what do you mean? we've booked this place.
No way.
And like we offered to pay him more money to stay, and he's like, "No, it's not. I just don't want to be here. I'm going." I think he quit very soon after, so he had nothing to lose.
I see. That's nuts.
But yeah, he just refused to stay any longer. I was like, "I'm leaving."
He was not having a good day. That's a shame. But no.
Yeah. But it was kind of well timed because I remember the stream just ran out of data.
Oh, so... yeah, you're still doing your 3G, 4G streams, weren't you?
That wasn't me. We got Smash House in for that one.
Okay, gotcha. Well, how come? Because it seems like for a lot of, like, your career, like, streaming has been this thing that you normally took hold of. So how come it was a Smashbox thing instead?
So, the thing with streaming is I did it because I had a vague interest in it and, like, scraps of equipment from when I would, like, record stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But primarily it was like, oh, I just want to... Like, we're doing this cool thing. We're doing a crew battle. Let's record it. You know, like we might as well.
Yeah.
And I would just record our own events. Like, I was never trying to be a streamer. That wasn't the point of doing it.
Oh,
it was just there were no streamers, right?
Yeah.
So I've got streaming equipment. We're doing a tournament. It makes sense to stream it, right?
Yeah. It's a classic story, right, of Smash where you just pick up a role because of the necessity.
Yeah, very few people in esports get into it on purpose, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, so up until I think Smashbox 2, I was just running the stream for all of them. But Smashbox 2 was such like a high scale event. I was like, I need to focus on TOing for this one.
Okay.
I can't run the stream and TO. And also like Smash House were like they were trying to be the UK streamer at the time.
Yeah.
So not only did they have better quality than me, but like I wanted to support that, right? Like
Yeah.
we needed a streamer.
For real.
So let's get him.
I remember they even did like fundraising. A bunch of people chipped in for like new cameras and stuff like that because they just really wanted to like push streaming around the UK. And yeah, they were sort of doing sort of what Phoenix Smash became, right? Going around the country, and or at least the early days of Phoenix Smash, where you'd go around the country and stream events from all around the, you know, for Melee and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think because obviously they stopped doing their thing, and then I like kind of started picking up from them, and then Big Good happened at the same time.
Yeah.
But then Big Good quit, and then there was just kind of this hole where people at this point had got used to streams, and they got used to having their events streamed. And they were like, well, I guess we just ask Shais then. He's the only other person with a capture card.
Yeah.
I think at the time I'd done a few SCRs as well. Like, literally because I wanted to go to SCR, and I was like, well, I can fit a stream in my backpack. So I just took it. I was like, hey, do you want a stream setup? Or it was a recording setup, I think, at the time. I said, do you want me to just set this up on a setup and we can record all the games? So we did that. And then they, on the next event, were like, oh, do you want to come back and do it again? But other than like Coventry and Southampton, that's all I was streaming.
That's interesting because I remember like for the longest time, like that's the type of thing you do, right? You would just go around to events, and would you have streamed SCR for free? I'm guessing you would have.
I think I got free entry for it.
Okay.
But
you didn't like take a quote and be like, this is how much I'm being paid.
Yeah, I definitely like didn't get paid for it or get any travel paid for.
Yeah.
But I was going to the tournament anyway.
Yeah.
The stream was secondary. There was no like, I didn't need to update scores. It was pretty much just equipment for the most part, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting that you took it upon yourself then. I guess it was just, would you say like it was your interest in it, or was it just like circumstantial where you
bit of
just
both.
wanted
Like
to
I
provide
said,
something?
I had the equipment, and maybe I was trying to learn how to do it better as well. I don't remember, but yeah, I just was like, well, I can take it if it's in a bag.
Okay.
And no one else is there.
Would this have been like while you were still doing the Coventry TOing, I'm guessing? Because
Yeah,
I think SCR ended like way before you were done at Coventry, right?
Yeah, this is back when I was doing horrible. Coventry to Southampton is not a good trip.
Oh, you actually did that trip?
Not at all.
I would have thought, maybe it's like during the holidays and you were coming from London or something like that. But no, you're actually coming all the way.
Sometimes I would like come to London the night before.
Oh yeah.
To make it easier, but even like when I didn't, the route was usually better to go via London.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's so messed up in this country, man. Because London's such a central hub, right? And so you can't just go from like one place to another place. You have to go like through London. But yeah.
I used to make like a weekend out of it. I'd crash at my friend's house in Portsmouth, and we'd just hang for that weekend.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
I've been around Portsmouth a couple. Do you ever go? Actually, I guess I didn't have e-scooters. What I did was like, me and my friends, we would just like go on our e-scooters throughout like the whole of the coast, you know. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying this because it's clearly not an experience you share. But
no.
That is actually,
we did walk around the coast a lot. Good times.
Yeah, there's a lot to see. Actually, it's a coastal town, so there's not really that much to see. But yeah, I know they have like Woody. I took a picture with Woody. And, like.
Is that where that was? Okay.
Yeah, that was in Portsmouth. Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. For me, the times I've done that, I'm gonna probably do that a few times. I just stay at home in London and like eat my mom's cooking, and it's really nice because I get to see it. I get to taste it for the first time and not have to just eat pasta and pesto at uni. So yeah, I advise going home if you're someone who likes to travel and lives in London. But yeah, so I forgot where we even were. So that's where that was like the nascent days of the Phoenix Smash stream. I guess what was the transition to like, because Equinox is like the final send off sort of for Coventry based Phoenix Smash events. So what was that like?
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be. We were meant to do a second one. It had like it had a suffix. That's the one that comes after, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was Equinox Ember, because it was in the kind of, was it spring? And then we were meant to do one in the the winter.
To be honest, it was
autumn.
it was March, I think, right? If I remember correctly, I
Yeah,
might
close
be
enough,
wrong.
close enough. I think we
But-
were aiming to try and get it on the equinox.
oh
I think that was the
wow.
plan.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of borderline time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, then we just kind of all moved away from
Yeah.
Coventry, and it
Yeah.
became impractical to run tournaments there.
hmm
So
What was it
yeah,
meant to be? Was
that
it?
was.
Kieran told me Equinox Ice, but I always thought it was meant to be Equinox Glacier. You know, because it
I'm
seemed
pretty
I
sure
thought it
it
was going to
wasn't
be a
Glacier.
bit more abstract than just ice.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't that. I think we all have a different joke name for it. I think
I
Ice was
see.
one of the more common joke names. I like Frost as my joke name.
Okay.
There was a bunch of silly ones, but
hmm
yeah. Equinox Ember, by the way, I remember the work we put into the production for that one. It was like the first stream we actually like tried to actually make a nice stream. I feel like if you look at that one, the overlays animated and stuff. It's just a lot of fun stuff that we put into that one. It's a
Yeah,
good time.
I remember. I mean, I was there in person, but I did watch back the stream, and so yeah, I remember. Was it the transitions that were animated? I think.
I feel like we had an animated transition, but I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was.
Okay, fair enough. And that sort of speaks to more of like, again, that seems like a, because even today, like your sort of role is in production, stuff like that, with the Team Fate stuff, that's something you take a big hold on. So do you feel like that was like important for you in terms of the later things? I mean, I'm sort of just asking like these typical interview questions, but I guess it must have been important, right? When you were sort of building those skills and other things that you look back and you see that you're doing like not that great and then you're doing amazingly now, or do you sort of give yourself credit for what you were doing back then?
I mean, with all of these things, it's like an iterative process, right?
Mm.
So I don't really remember my thought process at the time, but I definitely remember being like, oh, we need to step up our quality for the next event. And then at the event, you realize that things are wrong, and then you fix it at the next event. And it just kind of sequentially improves all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously now as I'm more into the actual whole production side of things, and I've like looked into what makes a real production, that's where things shoot up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do a lot of cool things. And yeah, like you said with Fate, we've been doing a lot more conventional production things.
Mm-hmm. And you saw, and
But
by
yeah,
then you'd been working with like Boz, right? And you'd brought more people on to like build it into something bigger, right?
I think we brought Boz on for Smashbox, but
Yeah.
that was about it.
I've got this actually, a little picture to represent your more professionalization. I'll put it on stream because you made these little sort of. Let me put it on stream. I'll send it to you as well. So you made
Alright.
these little business cards, right? Didn't you?
The Air business cards.
Oh, so you handed these out at Air?
We handed these out at Air.
That's amazing.
That was the point. So yeah, we were planning this tournament.
Okay.
And then we were like, let's get everyone. Like Europeans will be there, all
Yeah.
of the country will be there. Let's just hand these cards out.
Okay.
Shout out to the 8-Bit Planet sponsor on there. I forgot about that. They provided plushies, I think, for the Ami bracket winners. Maybe.
Oh, was that not I know Sleepy Waifu did that bunch, didn't she?
She did that afterwards. I think we were in
Okay.
touch with 8-Bit first.
Okay.
Yeah, they supported quite a few events in the scene
Okay.
back then.
But yeah, so there was this sort of development and professionalization, and you pushed yourself a lot, is what I've heard. I remember a specific quote I got from Kyran that you might have said was, let me try and pull it up right now.
Oh dear.
We were great at pushing ourselves and our events further than we had any right to. Is something you said at the time.
Pretty much.
And
like-
so, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, like, no one needed that level of like what we were going for.
Mhm.
We'd always do things that we were kind of like, it would be cool though.
Yeah.
You can kind of still see elements of that now in some of the dumb stuff I do.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was always like, this won't, like, the input output is not worth it. The work you put in is not worth what comes out. But at the end of the day, that's what running a Smash tournament is.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
you're not going to get like financial reward or anything out of it. Yeah, but so yeah, I suppose for something like for people that might be running things today, and we've got Yanawa in chat who's trying to do his little thing in Southampton now. I suppose like what type of investment would you guys have like put into what's it called, into Team Phoenix at the time? I know Kyran told me that you guys put a lot of effort, as I just said, a lot of money into it to sort of build it into something bigger.
Yeah, so at the time, I remember Kyran would just like weekly trips to the charity shop, the British Heart Foundation in Coventry.
Yeah.
You got new CRTs? Okay, yeah, we'll take them.
Yeah.
I bought a few, but he definitely bought the lion's share of the CRTs.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about that so much now because the UK has a big collection of CRTs.
Yeah.
And you can just get those. But back in the day, it was just CRTs in Kieran's house that we just buy at the charity shop or just find at the tip or whatever.
Yeah.
That was probably the big investment. And then I remember buying the first like stream investment we made was the broadcast headsets.
Okay.
I remember trying to convince Kyran to let me buy them. I was like, look, we've got some budget from the last event. It will be so good. Just let me buy them. We just need and it was like, it must have been like what, 250 quid or something?
Yeah.
Which is like it was a lot of money for us at the time. I was like, look, but trust me, it'll be good. And then we streamed that event, and he's like, yeah, okay, fine.
Are those the same headsets that you use like nowadays, Shais?
It's the one I'm wearing right now.
No way!
Not the same one. This is, I actually had them refurbished the other day. But this is the refurbished model of the ones I just got.
That's actually nuts.
They're great.
Yeah.
I'm even still using the same mixer. And actually, I refurbished that one too. Literally over lockdown, it broke.
Okay.
But it lasted me that long.
That's actually amazing. Yeah. Wow. I didn't expect you to literally be wearing something from back then right now.
Yeah.
Well, that is actually nuts. But yeah, I suppose that sort of talks to the time that you had TOing. I suppose another thing that Phoenix was doing back then was you sort of dipped into a bit of sponsorship. So what can you tell me about the sponsorship and the broadening of Team Phoenix in that regard?
Sponsorship is in terms of players, or
yeah, in terms of. I mean, wait, you didn't do any other types of sponsorship, did you?
I wasn't sure if you meant like our events because we had like Planet
with like dominoes and stuff like that.
People never really did. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's kind of unique, isn't it? Because I remember splitting a pizza with Sean. Actually, there's a bit of a story because because me and Sean we'd already agreed like to get this pizza, but I think the deal for you guys was like it was like a buy one get one free that we got at Domino's, right? And so we were like, oh, we need to find 2 other people who are interested in getting this pizza with us. And so we asked Aiken beforehand, oh, would you like to get this buy one get one free pizza, and you can split it with someone else? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so we're looking around, scouting for someone. And so Aiken had just played like Archie, right? And he beat Aiken, and Aiken was like totally devastated by this loss. And he was just like, as a lot of people at Smash Tournaments are, they just sit around by themselves, like not talking to anyone. And so we had to be like, Archie, you interested in pizza? And he was like, yeah, I'm really interested in pizza. And me and Sean, because obviously I can't eat like meat pizzas at Domino's, right? Because it's not halal. So me and Sean
chicken pizzas.
Really?
It used to be halal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there wasn't chicken in a meat feast. In a meat feast, and Archie wanted a meat feast. Me and Sean were already splitting our veggie volcano, but Archie was like, "Yeah, I want a meat feast," and we were like, "Okay, Archie, we needed to go talk to Aiken. He's just over there after you've beaten him and like agreed on the pizza that you want to eat with him." And so he did that, and like, yeah, that was super good for us. I actually loved that Domino's deal. And so
the original Domino's deal was better, by the way. It was originally 50% just off anything. So you could go in and get
from the menu.
Yeah. I remember like you just walk in, get chicken wings at 50% price. Go like anything you want at 50%. You just have to like flash your controller at them to show that you were
really. That's nuts.
Yeah, they made.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. Carry on.
You actually, people showed like their GameCube controller as like
I don't
a sort
think they
of
actually
pendant.
cared, but that was the key. Yeah. That was the I'm with them.
That's actually so hype. What was I gonna say? I forgot. What was it? Yeah, because for me, you guys gave us like the menu or something, and you were like, yeah, take this, and you have to show them this. I don't know if there's something written on the menu or something. But yeah, I would have been so hyped to just like like I was hypnotizing them into giving me like 50% off or something. But yeah, and so Bubble Boba, because I've got a couple friends. My brother goes to Coventry as well. It's like this little shop opposite the box, right? I think it's also in, what's it called? Fargo Village. And they have like GameCube setups there as well, right? Where you can just play Mario Kart, I think. Or at least
they do. They at one point had they got a Phoenix jersey that they hung up on the wall. I doubt it's still there.
No way, it might be there. What reason would they have? Not gonna lie, Shais. What reason would they have to put it up? So what reason would they have to take it down now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But wait, did they do that
Um,
because of the sponsorship or?
well, I mean, I think they just really kind of liked us. You know,
Really? That's
we
hype.
just had a really good relationship with them. I
Yeah.
wish I liked bubble tea at the time because I love it now. But at the time, I did not like it.
So what was the Bubble Boba sponsorship? Did you just get
That
like
was also just that was buy one
50%?
get one free, I think,
Okay.
or 50%. I can't remember
Yeah, that's
because
fair
again,
enough.
did not care for the bubble tea.
Yeah, that's fair enough. No, that's actually so cool. So yeah, that's something I don't really see much at all nowadays.
Mm.
I suppose
I
the only
tried so
thing
hard to get a Kababra sponsorship. I
for who? For who? For what?
for one of the Smash boxes, I was gonna go in and just get either a mad good discount on like the burgers or the wings or something, but we got close, but we never quite figured it out.
So would it be you that would be doing that type of thing, or would it be you and
It was
Kieran
both of
or?
us. I think Kyran
Okay.
sorted out Bubble Boba. I think he sorted out Red Bull. We also had a friend who worked. He was like you know how Red Bull have student. I forget the word for it, but they have students who basically work for them,
Oh, like
marketing it
sort
to.
of influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
So
it
we had
called
one of
student
those.
reps or something? Student commercial? I don't
Yeah,
know.
pretty
Something like
much.
that. Yeah.
So we knew him through gaming sock. So he helped us like get a bunch of Red Bull cans and a massive Red Bull speaker to the venue.
Okay. So there've been
Yeah,
Red Bull influences before even like Omid started
that's
getting it. Red Bull's always sort of just want a little piece of melee, haven't they? But yeah, that's actually hype. No, I think I can actually get a picture of that because, not gonna lie, this Jack Verdun guy, you probably know him, Ved. You're probably not watching the stream, so I hope you don't feel bad that I'm showing your pictures.
That's what they're watermarked and
Yeah,
credited, right?
I
That's
think so.
fine.
Yeah, I hope there's not like a fee that I'm meant to be paying or something. There might be. I mean, I suppose I'll have to dip into the vast SharpEngine budget if I have to. But let me try and get it up. So yeah, so they had. This was also from Smashbox. A little bit of. So that's not just a massive Red Bull can. You can see the little Red Bulls poking up at the top. That's a fridge.
Yeah.
It's not a freezer. It's a fridge, right?
It's a fridge.
Yeah.
I think it might have just been a container.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it's a fridge.
Yeah. They don't have anything that looks like this. They have like those high-tech esports looking futuristic
I
fridges at
can't
the
remember.
gaming
We
sphere,
might
don't
have had
they?
one of these at Fate, but usually it is fridges now.
Oh yeah, I do remember one at Fate. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, that's sort of interesting that you guys seem to be running quite an entrepreneurial outfit there.
We just wanted to do something cool.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if you're bringing people to Coventry, you got to try hard. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not an easy sell.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I sort of understood. Like when I went to Coventry for the first time from London, I was like, yeah, I can understand this. There's inequality in the UK. It's kind of a bit grim, I can't lie. But yeah, it's really sick what you guys were able to accomplish there, and I think it sort of gives a model to a lot of people out of uni who are sort of trying to build their scene, or to be honest, in general, the sort of idea of having a partnership and bouncing ideas off each other and trying not to shoot down anything and working with what works is really, what's it called? It gives a model, inspirational even. So yeah, moving on then, I suppose you moved back to London right after your degree, and I suppose that was the next big period of TOing activity you had. I tried to get in contact with some people. Nebs gave me a little bit. He said that while you were in London, you were one of the leads, like along with Omid and Archie and Silas and Nebs. Was that broadly the team? I'm not forgetting anyone, am I? That was
I think Silas would have joined later, but I don't remember if that's true. I just remember him being a baby when we first met.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that he joined later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember that being like the North London set. Actually, wait, we can. Well, we didn't speak about. We spoke about half of the sponsorship, so we didn't get to speak about the other one. This is not the smoothest transition, but yeah. So I put speaking about Silas. I guess he was a member of Team Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
So he was one of the sponsored players. Going back to that, did him and Bombo? Because I know Bombo ends up having his some of his travel paid for and stuff like that. Was that sort of the same thing across what you guys did?
With Bombo, it was basically. I remember talking to Kyran. I think it was at Heir, and we were just like, Nathan's our mate. He's got a lot of potential. But I'm pretty sure at the time he was too broke to travel or whatever. So we were like, look, he could do really well if we get him to places. wobbling legal, of course.
Yeah.
So we're like, what? You know, it wouldn't take that much money to get him to a couple of events. If he reps the team, gets our name out too. But
Mhm.
it wasn't so much like a investment to get our name out there. So much more as like helping our mate who we could see who was going to do well.
Mhm.
And it worked. I mean, he was PR'd like the next season.
Yeah. He was. I
um,
think he peaked at like 12th or 13th, right?
yeah.
That's pretty high.
And then you have people like Silas, who was like, you know what, just let me be Team Phoenix. It'll be hilarious. It'll wind everyone up. I have never paid Silas a penny, and he's been subscribed for months.
Yeah. So you made more money off him pretty much.
Exactly.
I remember the meme. I remember. I don't know if it was the case for Omid as well. You ended up picking up, but the meme was that you just got like a couple slices after like an event or something. If you
Oh
remember
yeah,
Team
yeah.
Phoenix
Because we used to get free pizza at XFed.
Mhm.
That was like our little deal for streaming the weekly.
Nice.
So yeah, I used to donate my slices to my sponsored players.
That is nice. So, and was that similar with Omid, or was that a more serious thing, or?
No, it's pretty similar. I mean, it was like, hey, just let me rep the brand. It'll be great. And then he got the Red Bull job.
Nice.
So
No, it was a bit short-lived then, I guess. But yeah, so moving on, I guess. We were talking about you're part of that North London set of TOs who were sort of running Merct, and you were heavily engaged with like streaming the weeklies every week, pretty much still are. And so yeah, how you were sort of what's it called? You and so what Nebs told me was that you and Lolo were the only ones with experience of running something that big in terms of Merct, because it was similar size to what you guys were doing with Smashbox at Equinox Amber, right? It was just hovering above that 100 player mark, around that 128 player cap. So what was that sort of experience like, joining in with them and trying to run something big?
I mean, for the most part, it was incredibly natural. Like, they're all pretty good at TOing, and they're all pretty like easy to talk to, right? So Lolo having done loads, like Lolo carried London.
It
And
was
yeah,
him. Was he? He didn't make. He was. What was he running? He didn't make Kickstarter, right? That was Biatarog, right?
that was Biatarog. I think Lolo hosted the weeklies back with
He
Heart of
started
Gaming.
LLL, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was also the House of Hype, which is just at his house.
Oh yeah,
Um,
of course. And he did. What was that one? The one at the Fnatic bunker. I forgot what it was called.
Raid.
Raid. That was it.
Yeah.
And so
Uh,
yeah, he was a big figure in terms of actually just making that he made the move to XFed as well, didn't he?
I actually don't remember who found XFed. I
I
thought that
think.
was Biatarog,
I
but it
think
might have been
Biatarog was
Lolo.
running Kickstarter out of there, but I think Lolo was the first one to actually. Might have been
To
the
move the
first
weekly
one
there.
to move the weekly there, to speak to
Yeah,
Ellis
yeah,
and be
for
like,
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
this is what we
Probably.
want to do in terms of LLL. But yeah, LLL, which is still running strong. So he would have started the first one, and now we're on 205,
206 is
206.
the next one, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is crazy. We're no longer in the warehouse, I guess, but it's still
No.
crazy that it's still going. But yeah, so feel like it was pretty easy transition talking through.
Yeah, everything just kind of it helped being in like London as well, right? London
Mhm.
had a huge scene. People were willing to come to London.
Mhm.
People like were friends with a lot of the TOs as well, so they were willing to just come down. People love
Nice.
Lolo,
Yeah,
you know.
a lot of people
So
love Lolo. Yeah.
yeah, there's a much easier sell. We had all the CRTs. The venue was cool. Like I know people, it's hit and miss what you feel about the
Yeah.
warehouse, but like I loved it. Like they had all the CRTs. They had the giant projector. They had the sound system. They had a stage for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
You know.
There was quite a few things that was run. I mean, I suppose I did say like Merc was the first time they run something that big, but we had like 100 people at the first New Wave as well, didn't we? Which first,
New Wave came after Merc, I think.
I think New
I
Wave
might
1
have
might have
got
come
them swapped.
first.
Maybe.
I think
Maybe.
I might be wrong there. No, I think New Wave 1 was like summer 2017, and I think Merc 1 was like December 2017. If I got that right. Yeah, I have Merc 1 at December 2017. But yeah, that was also a solid set of like big events. So Merc 1, 77 entrants, Merc 2, 107, Merc 3, 109, Merc 4, 108. And yeah, they're all hovering around 100, so that's pretty solid string of success again for you, Shais, I suppose.
Yeah, that was actually another thing I completely forgot. The magical 100 number.
Mhm.
We were one of the first teams to break it. I think it was Air, Kickstart, and then us in the
Wow.
UK.
Okay.
So like Air, fair enough, you can't compete with that. And Kickstart
Yeah.
is in London and way older than us, you know.
Yeah.
So for us to just come about and be like, okay,
And
cool,
do it
let's
in
do it in
Coventry. Yeah,
Coventry.
that's so nuts. That's so nuts when you think about that as well. Yeah, that's actually quite an achievement.
But yeah,
But yeah.
Myth is great as well because it has like every event has had like special guests or a little twist or something, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Merc you're on
So
about, you mean?
sorry, I do mean
Yeah.
Mercked. Oh my god.
No, because
Been
Myth
thinking,
has a couple of special guests as well.
well, yeah,
But
Myth definitely carried the spirit of Mercked, you know.
mhm.
New venue, bit more esports, but it still tries to do that every event we do. Something a little different, you know.
Yeah. And in terms of your organizational role, just again, would you say, because I know you're more focused, leaning towards being more focused back then in the Coventry days on the stream thing. Do you feel like you were way more focused on the stream thing when you were working in London and you left the rest of the organizational stuff to the rest of them, or what type of thing did you do back then?
So I think back then I would have heavily focused on organization until like the day or the week, like just a few days before it,
Hmm.
where I would have put all my effort into the stream. But I think, yeah, actually, no, I did a side stream at New Wave 1, and then everything after that I was just
Yeah, I
doing
remember
the
that.
main stream. So yeah, I guess I would have slowly started shifting my efforts into production. But
Mhm.
also, like, the more you do an event, like, if you can do 100-person event once, you can do it 100 times. You know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
if you come
Yeah.
out of it doing well, like, it's not too hard to copy paste the formula and change. You obviously change things. You fly up people. You do cool things like that.
Mhm.
But like, it becomes incredibly autopilot.
Yeah.
Like, Myth currently has, was it 90 signups, and it's
Yeah.
in a
Wait,
month.
does it actually? Is it? I didn't know that.
80 or 90, I think.
Yeah, it's
pretty
definitely
high
up there. I know it. I didn't realize it got that. Yeah, Myth 2.
I might have just completely picked the number out of
I wouldn't be
sky.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's on
But-
84 attendees right now. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's really sharp because it just hit 64 like last week, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of interest in Myth.
And we've not even really advertised it. Like, that's
Yeah.
the crazy thing. I guess like people are hungry now, and the scene's doing better than ever.
Especially, there's not too
but
many
also,
things
like-
right now, to be honest. As much
Yeah.
as there used to be, but
Yeah, but the other thing is, like, once you do a big tournament, if people enjoyed it, they'll come back. It gets easier every time. Like, it only
Yeah.
gets harder when you do something crazy, like scale up or try something new.
yeah. Okay, that's interesting. And in terms of what you said about focusing on the organizational side, I suppose people who might have like had experience running tournaments might know what that's like. But for people who are newer to the scene or just haven't had that experience, what does that sort of mean? If you could give a like short outline of that.
Okay, sure. I guess for the most part, it's scheduling, because you need to not only schedule your tournament to run vaguely on time,
Mhm.
but like, it's a bit easier now with just melee. But like back when there was PM and stuff, you'd have to make sure people didn't clash between games, or whatever. So also like waving, which kind of translates now. I still do that, but it's like commentary schedules.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's still making sure that commentators aren't clashing. But it's having a schedule that works pretty well. It's figuring out, like, logistically, how are we going to set this up? Where do TVs go? Do we have enough space? Where does power come from? Is this safe?
Yeah.
Where does internet come from? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that's like the main logistic thing. Other than, like, I wouldn't really count it as a logistic, but the only other big thing that goes into pre-event is like advertising, right?
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so I suppose moving on from that, it's mostly your fate stuff, right? Because I can't think of anything between what you would have done on Merct and LLLs. I suppose you did also stream the quarters, right? And you stream things around the country. I suppose actually maybe the biggest thing that you would have gone out there for, like before the pandemic, was going to Ireland to stream
Yes,
Schism.
100%. Schism
So
was the biggest stream.
what was that like? What was going and taking everything to a different country for the first time like?
It was pretty cool. It was before my stream setup was too convoluted.
Okay. Did you still
although
have the little stream deck which you press the buttons on? Or...
I'm pretty sure I had the stream deck at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, my laptop right before Schism would randomly shut down at any given moment, and I didn't know if I had enough time to get it repaired. So we ended up taking a second laptop that had melee coming into it, because if my laptop shuts down during capture the way I used to do it, your TV goes off too.
Really?
So
well,
how? We had a pretty funny setup.
How does that actually happen? Like, why actually turns it off?
So the old setup was gameplay comes into capture card, gameplay comes out of capture card to TV.
Oh,
so if the capture card loses power, the TV goes out.
Okay, it would have been like a blue screen.
Now I split before capture card.
Because I remember the blue screen.
The TV would have just turned off.
Like flat out.
The blue screen happens. Yeah, it just would have turned off.
That's weird. Because why would losing the game feed actually like turn off the TV? Like,
sorry,
so you'd have to press a button.
No, it wouldn't. Sorry, the TV would stay on.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Like,
okay, gotcha.
Sorry, yeah, badly
that was a bit silly of me, to be honest, to assume like you would actually switch it off, but yeah.
But it's because back then, like the way to get quality, and that was another thing. I feel like my stream definitely had some of the highest quality capture for the time. And it's again because I convinced Kyran to let me buy a capture card that I really wanted.
Right. Was that what would have that been? Would it have been like a Blackmagic thing, or because
that's
I know
the intensity shuttle. I still use it.
Okay, so that's something that you installed in your actual PC, or is that?
No, it's an external capture card.
Okay,
it's an external one. But it is really good at handling composite and component signals. Most capture cards just do HD, or if they do composite, they're really bad. Which is why most people will stick their composite into a converter, like a FrameMeister thing, which gives them HDMI out of that instead. Most people still do that, to be honest. But I love my show; it does the job.
Yeah.
The only problem is, back in the day, component in and then composite out, right? Because TVs, most of them don't take component, which meant the box was doing a lot of the conversion.
Okay.
But that's why it would just kill the TV. Whereas now I'm happy to just use lower quality capture because we have Slippy.
Okay.
So
yeah.
now I can just split, not care about it.
It's actually so easy nowadays with Slippy as well. Like half the time you don't even have to. What's it called? You don't even have to use that many. You don't have to have a capture card full stop, right?
Wow.
So you can just sort of straight up stream it, which is nice. Because,
for sure, it definitely helps having a capture card.
Yeah,
you can get like the cheap. You can go get yourself a Dazzle for like a tenner.
Yeah,
it's good enough.
And you can show like the character select screen and stuff like that because you don't have any other option to do that otherwise, right?
Yeah. Okay. But Slippy comes with a feature that lets you, when the game ends, cut to capture card feed instead of instead of Slippy.
No wonder it's so smooth. The whole time I thought, Shais must just be like pressing like change scene or something like that, but it's super smooth, the transition, right?
If you watch LLL, because it's only a weekly and I take it a bit more chill, when the game ends, it automatically changes to the player cam.
Player cam, yeah.
Because all I did was like the scene normally, so you have like your Slippy scene and then your capture card under it, and you make the Slippy scene turn transparent or rather invisible whenever the game's over. But I just have the entire scene of the whole overlay and everything, and that turns invisible to reveal the cameras underneath.
I see. Okay. Wait. So do you have the camera scene under the gameplay then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's weird. That's actually quite weird. I can't lie. So you don't have it on two separate scenes. You just have it on the same scene.
I also have two separate scenes, but I haven't. Okay. I have a scene that will So I have a manual control mode, which is using the separate scenes. Yeah. But then I have one scene which is because in OBS you can add scenes to your scenes. You can embed scenes.
Oh. Okay. So
I have a scene that has my player's scene and my overlay, like my main scene. So there's only two sources in it. And then you just flicker it. But it's just the magic of Slippy, which back in the day, it was not. It was so much work.
Yeah, I mean, you mean before Slippy?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, these are sort of high-level techniques that an experienced streamer can sort of work out, I guess, as a little technical insight for you guys. But So yeah, what was it like taking everything over? Did the people from Schism reach out to you? Was that something that you were offering at the time?
Yeah, so this was Schism 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, Schism
Schism
3.
3?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because they had Big Good at Schism 2, and then obviously they disbanded.
Hmm.
So, again, it falls to me. Um,
Yeah.
just kind of the secret to my success, be the only person available.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they hit me up. I packed everything in 2 suitcases, took it on a plane. Didn't get stopped by security on the way there, only on the way back when
Oh
they couldn't
man.
scan my bag because a mixer blocked everything inside of it.
Really? Okay.
But yeah, it went really, really well. First time streaming Ultimate, I think.
Yeah.
But even that was good.
Yeah, I remember Larry Lur turned up for that one randomly, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And you think like being a top of Smash 4 at the time, actually not Ultimate, right? Or was it Ultimate? It was Ultimate.
It might have been Ultimate. Wait.
I think it was Ultimate.
Yeah, because when did Ultimate come out?
I think
Was
I
it
remember
late
the theme
2018? Okay, fair
I have no
enough.
idea.
It was burned into your mind.
That's it.
Okay, yeah.
But like you think that, I mean, then again, Melee top players are no better, so there's no way that Ultimate top players are any smarter. But
Oh no.
he
I was about to
during
hear.
like right before his set started, he plugged his headphones into the Switch, which
Okay.
which routes the audio into the headphones, so it stopped going to the TV, it stopped going to the stream.
Oh
It just-
no. Wow.
Like surely you know not to plug it. There's literally a headphone jack. Well,
Did you have one, like a separate
there
one?
was one coming out the TV. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a bit nuts that you did that. Wait, so you had that set up for Ultimate as well? Is that something that you just plug into the TV then? Because
What,
I
the
know.
stream?
No, because have you done splitters like that in the past with people that want to play with headphones or?
The TV itself has a headphone jack, so you just need
Okay.
to put an extension
Gotcha. Yeah, Larry Low, man.
in. But he was great fun on the night out after.
Yeah, I heard.
So-
I heard like apparently Brandon told a story where he had a drink bought for him, and then at the end of the bar, it was just like Larry Low going like, "Yeah, it was me." It's like, "Hello." Like he was like, "Oh, who paid for my
Yeah.
drink?" And he was like, "That guy over there." And it's just like, they've like Larry, man. But yeah. So yeah, that's sort of cool. So I don't know. Do you have a going around and streaming all over the world? I mean, all over Europe, I guess. Do you have a particular tournament that stands out, like that you sort of enjoyed? Yeah, or sort of. Actually, here's a more interesting question. What was the more sort of like chaotic moment in terms of running a stream out of
Oh, I
tournament
mean,
that was not
everything's
yours?
chaotic.
Okay.
Everything's chaotic. Like, I'm not so much like I'm simplifying everything as much as I can nowadays, but there's always issues behind the scenes. Like, if you see a small problem on stream, chances are there's something horrible happening on that end. And like streaming is 90% of the time hiding all of the mess that's really happening at the tournament. You know, be that camera angle so you can't see how awful the venue really is,
Yeah,
or like.
yeah.
Kind of jank cable solutions to fix the fact that either a cable got forgotten or broke on the day or something, you know? So there's always a bit of chaos. I think probably, actually, now that you said it, yeah, Mercked 2 or 1, I forget which one of the Mercked it was.
Okay.
If you go watch the VODs on those, the quality is awful because the capture card just was not working.
Okay. Oh yeah, was that the one you were asking around? Did that happen where someone asked around if there was an alternative capture card about?
I don't
Or am I
remember
coming
that
up with
happening.
that? Okay, fair enough.
I'm not sure. But it's more that the intensity shuttle, I don't know, it seems to be like, I think it needs to accept you as a person. Because everybody struggles with it when they first get it, and then it just starts working like a dream, and you didn't change anything.
I see. It just,
know?
yeah.
It just needs to.
It becomes one
needs
with
to get
you,
used
yeah.
to you. But like, yeah, it would just randomly decide, nope, I don't want to work today. And it didn't help that it doesn't really like PAL Melee.
Okay.
It doesn't dislike PAL Melee. Or rather, I think vMix, which is my streaming software at the time, didn't really like PAL Melee. But the
Okay.
capture card's okay.
Gotcha.
Just that whole series of weirdness. And I got a solution in the end because that's what I do. But that I remember being a pretty nightmare scenario.
Okay, fair enough. I suppose, yeah, so nowadays, what sort of is that process for you in terms of like getting approached by someone to run their stream, and what would you do? Would you give them a quote, or would you look? I mean, nowadays, do you look to get paid for your streaming, or is it just sort of case by case, or what do you sort of do in that regard?
So yeah, I generally try and like do cost price for anything that's like a first event.
Okay.
And normally I will take a loss on like someone's first event anyway,
Okay.
just because like I was saying earlier, like the first event's the hardest, right? No one knows who you are, no one knows the event's going to be good.
Yeah.
So having a stream already entices people, and people watching the stream can be enticed to come next time. Right?
Yeah, it's a good way of getting your name out.
Yeah, like having your tournament streamed brings it, like people who didn't know it was happening will be like, oh, this is on, where is it? Oh, that's not too hard for me to get to, you know. So I will try and like do cost price or slight loss or whatever for thingy, but that's like, it's Melee. Like I'm never gonna make actual money streaming Melee.
Yeah.
I will for any like established events. I will like make a small profit margin on it, because that's how I buy equipment with the subs and like small profit margins I make on that. But for the like UK travel sucks, man. Do you know how much a train costs?
Yeah. You don't know.
It's very hard to charge an amount of money where I don't just break even, and also I don't break the TOs bank, because I know the TOs the struggle's real for them too.
Yeah.
You know.
I suppose like, maybe if you're like more of an established series, then you've got like maybe some money that carries over that you can sort of spend on little bits and bobs.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and also like as you start investing in things, you end up saving more of your small proceeds from the last event, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I don't do Melee for the money.
Yeah.
Melee is 100%. I like if I stop streaming Melee, someone else will have to figure it out very quickly, or we will have a quick, you know, the dark age, where there's no streams for a while.
Massive.
I'm sure people will, because it's easier than ever. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I'm streaming Melee because I want this game to be huge. I want our scene to be huge. And like, if you look at LLL as well, there was a huge spike in LLL entrance from when I started streaming it. Like 50 upwards, they started like hitting 30 consistently for a while.
Okay, is this around the 2018 time, or?
Yeah, it would have been.
Okay.
So like I kind of almost know I have a duty to stream the events, so it's not about that. But like, to put it into comparison, over like lockdown / just after lockdown, I streamed a few like non-Smash things. And I'm pretty sure I made more money in that year than I've ever made in Smash, off like off a handful of non-Smash events.
Oh yes, because I heard you were doing that before the what's it called? Before the quarter stream. Well, Megan was handling the quarter stream one day, right? And you were off streaming. I don't know what esport it was, but it was some sort of esport.
It was a Quake Invitational.
Okay.
It was a pretty huge event. It was their first LAN event, I think, in this game, because the game came out over lockdown.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, it was a pretty huge stream.
I didn't even have that sort of thing in mind. Actually, sorry, I cut you off there. Finish up first, Chase.
Just that, like that's the kind of event where like I'll watch Quake. It's a fun game to watch, but it's not my scene. So I will charge you my actual rates for that one.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice you're able to do that. It's nice you're able to have like had the experience through Melee, at least, I guess. It's something you've got.
No, 100%. Doing it through Melee is like I've done a lot of streams with Red Bull. And that's mainly because we did front runners there, because Omid got me in to stream that, and then it was like, we need a streamer. There's not many of them, and then they just ask if I can do it, and usually I can. Yeah,
that's so sick. I remember, because that's not even just a you experience. Like in terms of broader like Melee people, I'm trying to find an image right now, but I remember Alpha Zelot. Yeah, I've got it here. I'll share it with you. It's sort of hard to see because of the size of the text, but it's basically where a lot of American tiers ended up. I'll try and put it on the stream. Sorry for the Spotify listeners, but I'll try and talk to you guys through it. But yeah, there's a bunch. It's so the norm.
I remember seeing this. Yeah.
It's so the norm that a lot of people in Smash end up like filtering their way into like esports careers. I'm guessing it's not as big a thing in EU if it even exists. I mean, I suppose you're getting your little like streaming things on the side, but yeah, it's definitely a
Yeah,
thing.
if you look
where,
at this list, full-time Smash, there's what, 4 names here?
yeah,
And I think
let me try and get this easier to see. Yeah, you can talk. You can talk us through it.
yeah,
Shais.
no, I was just trying to like, I don't even know how much of this is still relevant. Like Crimson Blur is not really a freelance shoutcaster anymore. You know what I mean?
I guess so.
Is
No, I think that is what he's. No, I think that
that
might
what he's
be.
currently doing?
It might actually be because he's not employed right now. I think he just sort of left Twitch and
Right.
like yeah, he's just doing his own thing. Yeah, it's sort
Yeah,
of
if you
hard
look
to
at
see
this
on
list,
stream, but
there's 4. Oh, you can look at the color scheme though, right? Just to get a
Yeah.
vague idea. There are 4 people on this, or 5 if you count both of the Loftons. There are 5 people that have gone full time in Smash.
yeah,
It's not a
it's
thing.
really hard to get into.
But then if you
yeah.
look at all the yellows, right? That's what Smash really is. It's a gateway to esports and gaming.
Mhm.
A lot of these people manage to just do something for Smash, and through connections they build through there, they do end up full time doing similar things, right?
Yeah, in esports.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, this is like historically been known for so long as like the sort of pipeline. Like even before a lot of these people, even it's something worthwhile if you don't even end up in esports as a whole. Like just putting on your CV that you're able to show the sort of 1 second, let me get this off stream. The sort of organizational skills of running a tournament and being managing an account for a TO team that runs a series or something like that, and getting a certain number of people and being able to market it and stuff like
For
that.
sure.
It's such an amazing skill set that you can develop through just doing that, and really shows you to be like a sort of go-getter and stuff
For
like
sure.
that.
It's such like an easy thing to talk about at like interviews and stuff as well.
Mhm.
And it's like you've got tangible proof. Like I can say I ran this, look, here it is.
Mhm. Wait, wow. Kyran saying in chat that founding Team Phoenix got him his graduate job. That's nuts. Actually, Booba asked as well what the event was that you ran.
I'll quickly look it up now.
What the game
It was
The guy that he's collecting the
One
back.
second.
He's collecting them, but he doesn't even remember the game.
Oh no, Booba, I remember Booba. Like he knew about it at the time because
Okay.
what was it? Jaybriz.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
He's a
like,
member
was
of
trying to-
Team Fate for people that are not aware, right?
Yeah, so he was watching the Invitational, and he was like, "Oh, get me Rafa's signature," and I had no idea who Rafa was. Apparently, he's a
Okay.
big FPS guy, and then he told Booba about it, and Booba was like, "What do you mean you didn't get Rafa's signature?"
Is he like the goat of like Kratos? He's like their Armada or something like that. Possibly.
Yeah, I have heard him described as the FPS goat. He
Okay.
also won the tournament. He's very good.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, people was confirming that in chat.
It was called Iron Fist.
Okay, and that was a Quake Champs event. I don't
I
know
don't-
the name
no, I
of these
don't-
games.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it was Quake Champions, the new one.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, kind of cool thing about that, I got to meet Ketchup, who was like one of my fighting game kind of like people that I'd watch on my come up.
Okay.
Apparently he's
is he
huge
like a
into
UK?
Quake.
He's a UK streamer or a player or?
He was a player. Now he's kind of more on the influencer side of things, but he got second
Okay.
at EVO for Mortal Kombat, so he's not bad.
Whoa, okay. Wait, was this like?
Wait,
As in like
yeah.
the main Mortal Kombat game, not like a side event or something like that.
no, Mortal Kombat X at the time, I think it was.
Okay, that's nuts.
Like, yeah, it was kind of really random just to see. Oh, who's hosting this? Ketchup. Like Ketchup.
Yeah, I didn't
What's
know
he
UK.
doing here?
I didn't know there were many people UK people that had like fighting games. I've only heard of like Ryan Hart and Problem X, and those are like the Ryan Hart apparently he's like one of the goats of fighting games.
Yeah, he is.
Apparently,
We've
like,
got Foxy Grandpa as well. He's
Oh,
had
yeah.
a few breakout events.
of course. Yeah, but yeah, it's sort of a lot of heritage, a lot of people mixing about, and it's sort of
Yeah.
it's so cool. But oh no, Ketchup, is he like the mustard and ketchup guy? Like
Yeah,
those two
it's-
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them from Tekken. They're Tekken players, right?
They,
They're mostly
I know
Tekken
primarily
commentators.
they were Mortal Kombat, but they've
Okay.
done everything since then. Like,
Okay, gotcha.
They probably are Tekken commentators. They commentate all fighting games at this point.
No, actually, I think I saw them at like a Tekken special that they did like Ryan Hart training up a random guy and like
Nice.
Ketchup and Mustard training or something like commentated it at the end or something like that. But yeah, that's so hype. that you have been mixing around these other scenes? Because I was going to ask you about that earlier, because I know you ran. I didn't have this sort of extra Quake streaming on my radar when I was like planning this, but I know you did do the fighting game tournaments. You did some DBFC streaming, right, in the warehouse. I remember Megan mentioned a tournament called Pinnacle. Was that what that was? Was that the DBFC tournament? Or was that something else?
Oh, we don't talk about Pinnacle. That was a Brawlhalla tournament.
No way! You stream Brawlhalla, Shais? No way.
That was like early days of Brawlhalla. Before it was big, I am a Bodvar main.
Yeah, I remember talking about this with you.
This is like back in the day, you know? Like
really?
This is
how far along are we talking?
I'd have to figure out when it was. I cannot remember, but it was like Brawlhalla was still like pretty new.
Whoa, okay then.
And like, I remember, we got in touch with the devs. We ran this tournament. We got in touch with the devs.
Wow, okay.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, you can have these." Like, they had these. So you know, in Brawlhalla, you've got custom colors for every character. There's a community color.
Now I do.
Well, no, it's like alternate skins, like in Melee. Right?
Oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
So you have like red, blue, black, blah blah blah, and you unlock those like in-game currency. But you have community colors which you can only earn. So they just gave us a bunch of community colors to give out as prizes, and they were like pretty rare back in the day.
And so, what would have this been with that? Would this have been when you were in London, or was this a Coventry thing?
I think I did it in London, but I did it with a few of my other friends who just played a lot of Brawlhalla with me.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's mad.
I wonder if VODs exist for that somewhere. They definitely do. Pinnacle. It was funny because it was NaCl because it was salt. That was the joke.
Okay.
Pinnacle.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, that's crazy. That's actually hype. But yeah, so yeah, the DBFC tournaments though, I remember there were a couple UK players that came. Foxy Grandpa came to that, right? And RMZ as well. And I forgot who else might have been notable back then.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people there. There's a really funny moment with Foxy. So he got second in Mortal Kombat Evo, one of them, right?
Yeah.
And then my mate who was running the tournament with me, somebody, may have been me, may have been someone else, I don't actually remember, mixed up Foxy's placement and told him that Foxy won the tournament.
Oh no! Oh no! So he went off and what happened?
So he's talking to Foxy and he goes, "Oh man, I didn't know we had an Evo champion in the building."
Oh no! Oh no!
And then Foxy just goes, "I got second." And he goes, "Oh, I mean, well, second's pretty good." He goes, "I wish I got last."
That's so sad. Oh no, poor Foxy, bro. But yeah, I mean, he's been around for a while, right? So he's got a reputable career, but yeah.
I think he won that tournament. I can't remember.
Oh, would there have been many like threats to him? I guess, or
there was IXE.
Oh yeah, of course.
Actually, apparently, is an insane Sheik in Melee, but just doesn't like the game.
I've seen this. Yeah, they're Midlands, right?
Yeah, they're friends with How, I think.
Yeah, I think this is how I've heard about them, but yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, IXE.
I remember running that tournament as well was cool because at the time, I don't know how it is now, but Dragon Ball tournaments at the time were literally random seeding double a limb.
Well, as just a norm.
It's just how they did things.
Was this because of like their sponsored tour or whatever, or is this just what everyone?
No, it's just how they did things.
So
they come to my tournament, and on the day, I'm like, well, it was small numbers, right? Because Dragon Ball seeds are smaller than Melee. I think we had like 12 to 16 people, and I was like, I think for the first one we did just run a bracket, but we seeded it.
Okay.
But for the second one, we were like, let's do a round robin. Let's do it Melee style. So we ran round robin pools into bracket, pro bracket, Ami bracket. You know, the classic formula. And it went really well. They actually kind of liked it.
They liked it?
They never did it again.
Fair enough. Yeah, FGC are very much... The impression I get, at least, is like they're sort of stuck in their ways. But, yeah, that's sort of... It's interesting that you had that sort of engagement with them as well. But yeah, moving on, I suppose the later things that you would have been involved in were Fate stuff, at least to my memory. Or is there anything else that sticks out in your career around that time?
More recent stuff? Oh, at that time?
Or in between, like, say, 2019 and now, before Fate?
I I can't think of anything particularly notable. I guess Fate would have been the big project at the time.
Mhm. And so, like, how do you sort of get involved in that, and what was the process of working with that team of people?
So if I remember correctly, it was probably just, um, some of the Midlands TOs, probably Jaysotee, but I can't remember specifically if it was them. Um, just posting in like the TO room that we have for like booking dates.
Okay.
I was just like, Air's gone. We want to run a major. Does anyone want to help?
Okay. Yeah. Because there was this, I remember there was this, people were obviously distraught about the ending of Air, and there was this massive, GoFundMe or whatever it was. Was it? I think it was a GoFundMe, right?
I think it was
to like raise money to get alternate storage for all of the CRTs that Ed used to run what's it called, Air, that Cone used to run Air, because if anyone thinks that Cone's just the guy that runs a Discord for melee lessons, he also ran one of the biggest EU melee series in the form of Air. So
and probably the tournament that had the most tournament sets played at it, right?
Yeah,
in the world,
because they had like crazy amount of. They had how many 7 different AMI brackets, right?
Yeah,
6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah, because there was 8-person pools, 2 go to top, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
And then it wasn't even just a bracket. You would get put into like these AMI
into another
pools,
round robin.
Another round robin pool, and that fed into like a final bracket, which was insane. But there was still like spare setups like around the place. I think they even had that one place where, what were they called? The Eon adapters, right? The one that everyone said ended up being like laggy.
The ones that are complete scams, yeah.
Were they actually scams? I have no idea about what
they're not like
were.
scams per se, but they don't. The issue with like HD Melee is not the adapters.
Okay, gotcha.
They are good adapters, but they're not much better than a £5 Wii to HDMI.
Gotcha. Okay. But what was I gonna say? So yeah, they had a bunch of, and that's also I guess another example of what we mentioned earlier, sponsorship, where it's much easier for people to get a CRT monitor sponsorship than a lot of things, because it's like a gamer peripheral and people like to.
No one sells CRTs.
Exactly.
No one's trying to get them out there.
I mean, unless you're like in the third world, and you can actually get them like fresh off the production line from like Alibaba. You know about this, Shais?
I actually didn't know that.
Because I think that's true, because they're still servicing like third world markets. So I think you might be, if anyone's like worried about the CRT apocalypse, then you can order one and cuddle it as you go to sleep or something. I don't know. But because they had monitors that were being like what's it called? That were being sponsored. And so they had a whole room of just like monitor setups that you could play on, that were just completely disconnected from the event. And I walked in there regularly, and the room was entirely empty because people were doing whatever fun Air activities they enjoyed getting up to. But so I forgot even how we got here. But we were mentioning Cone, and
I was in the lead up to Fate.
The lead up to Fate, because they were doing the GoFundMe to get the CRTs, right? And so the Air ended up being Fate and you guys. So can you tell me a little bit about that, how you joined them, and like what type of role you had and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, sure. So like I said, it was pretty much we're gonna run the new thing because there's no Air, and we can't just not have something. Because it's a huge blow to Europe already losing Air, right? And then it's also just a huge blow to the UK.
100%, yeah.
Air 2 is like when I was like, okay, I think I'll take this game seriously. Like I remember that was my first melee bracket, I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow, okay. So you went up there, would that have been before you went to Coventry or after?
No, so I was already playing PM at Coventry.
Okay.
And then I found out about Air through Kyran. And then I was like, well, it's like £3 entry fee or something stupid like that. Okay. So
that's actually nuts.
Yeah.
No way.
Okay, so I was like, well, I'll enter melee then, I guess. I remember, I'm pretty sure I was playing some old net play on Smash Ladder in the lead up to Air 2. Maybe that was a different Air.
Yeah.
But, so.
One sec. Yeah. Go on, Chase.
I actually completely lost my train of thought. But essentially,
Oh, it
was
was
like,
about fate, right?
yeah. So we're doing something big. We need to think of a name. But we've got the CRTs. We need to find a venue and all this stuff. So then we just made a Discord server. Whoever wanted in joined, and then whoever remained is still here. Is pretty much, and that's kind of made the core team now. It's pretty much whoever stuck around after, like, getting to Fate, doing Fate, and then, yeah.
And the core team now, who's that? It's like you, Jaysotee, Megan, Goo, Jay Briz, Tasty, Calzim. Am I including too many people, or is that?
No, that's it. You got DJ PJ757.
Of course, yeah. How can I forget DJ
Picky,
Picky,
social
of
media
course.
manager Bort. Never forget.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing him panicking and like going between different windows at Faye Online. I was like, oh, can I help you, Jaden? Like, let me help you. He was like, nah, don't worry about it.
We left him running the Twitter for like one day, and he had a meltdown.
Yeah, because he had to he was managing the Twitter, but he was also regularly trying to pull clips. So he was like,
we just told him take a clip at the end of a set, tweet it. That was it. And then within like 10 sets, he posted the Minions meme.
Yeah, I remember. That was not a fun video to see, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. He did seem like he was struggling at the time, I remember. But you know, he ended up working out. But yeah, so that's the current team now, right?
That's the current team now, yeah.
And so I did actually want to ask more about the actual 2019 event. So in terms of that, like, what was sort of, how did you because that would have been like one of the biggest tournaments the biggest tournament you'd ever run to that
Yeah, I
time.
think that was the biggest thing I'd done at the time.
So what was that sort of process? Like, what type of engagement did you have with it, I suppose? Was it just mostly the type of primary production that you sort of do now and you've done throughout, or was it more organization and stuff as well? Or?
My memory's a little hazy on it now, but I feel like it probably would have been similar to the Mercked kind of deal, because like I definitely enjoyed like the organizational side of things a lot more back then, and the production side of things was a lot like barer bones.
Okay.
So there was less to go into it, right?
Okay.
I definitely like did a lot of it, like kind of figuring out how to make Slippy have all the custom stock icons and stuff, which didn't even work on the day for someone, and they kind of worked. But
I think were they not like at least on one stream?
The second stream it was working fine. The first stream it started lagging for some reason.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of production that went into that. But for the most part, I think I played a pretty balanced role. Fate Online, I definitely shifted just completely into production, pretty much.
Gotcha.
I would have still done, like, I will always do some organizational stuff. It's kind of a consequence of both my nature and organization has to be done for some of the stream stuff to be done.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you feel like you enjoy it? Do you feel like it's a fun thing? Because I suppose maybe they could be like some joy you'd glean from like having everything add up and stuff like that.
Mostly, but like Team Fate now, I know I can just trust them to get on with it. We can delegate tasks. I don't need to do that. I can just focus on doing some cool production stuff.
Yeah. Especially with someone as experienced as like Fraser. Has Fraser been TOing for as long as you have, or maybe
a little bit less, but
okay,
not much less.
Gotcha. Because I know what's it called, the Smash Boxes and the short pairs sort of popped up around similar era, didn't they?
Yeah, I think I can't remember when short pair started up, but it was definitely, I think we'd done at least half of our tournaments by then.
Gosh. Fair enough.
But yeah, I remember short pair was actually one of the first few out of region things I'd streamed as well. So that was quite nice because it was pretty close to Birmingham. Birmingham was pretty close to Coventry.
Coventry, exactly.
So I could just get the train and it was not too awful.
Yeah. Okay, so I suppose what other things do I have to touch on? I suppose I could ask about, I feel like there must be something I'm glaringly missing. Oh yeah, of course. I wanted to ask you about your involvement in like BTS Smash. Did that actually start at Fate, or was that beforehand?
That started with Fate. We got a message from Slime that was like, "Hey, can we we talk?" We're like, "Sure." So we set up a call with Slime, and he was just like, basically, we'd like to buy streaming rights for Fate.
Really? Okay.
And
Just like that.
pretty much. So then we just
Okay.
started chatting to him about sorting that out.
And so they'd heard about Fate through whatever marketing you guys would have done online or something.
Yeah, I
They would
guess
have
so.
been popped up on their radar.
Because
Okay.
they also picked up Awakening and Superboo, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think they were doing that a lot, weren't they? BTS Smash. They were just restreaming things.
Yeah, and I think it's still something that they do, but now you ask them.
Oh, okay.
As far as
Is
I'm
that what
aware.
you ended up doing for Same? Or
For Same, I'm pretty sure we approached them. asked
okay,
them to do it.
gotcha.
But
yeah,
like at the same time, they want content on their channel, right? There's only so much reruns people will watch.
exactly. Yeah.
So fresh content is good, and then they do own the streaming rights to rerun that as well. So
Okay, gotcha. So you sort of signed that away to them in terms of dealing with. And so Fate VODs are they on the BTS Smash YouTube
they're on
channel?
the BTS channel. I believe that like day 1, day 2, like VODs.
Yeah, I know they didn't properly chop it up, did they?
I even offered to cut them up, but they were like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll deal with it," and they just didn't.
Really? No way. But yeah, so would that have been something that you would have been like more of engaged with because you're on the production and streaming side, or was that something that like the core Team Fate members would have dealt with? Or
we kind of, I'm pretty sure everyone was in that meeting, or at least like whoever, like there was like 3 or 4 of us at least in that meeting. It wasn't too, production only or TO only kind of thing. But the actual summit thing there wasn't much to it. It was like they say, "We want this, here's a contract, sign it if you want it." And then I would have signed it, and then after that, yeah, like they're hands off. They said you can do pretty much whatever you want.
Gotcha.
Like they have no rules for what they on their stream, like, within reason, obviously. So it doesn't actually change the planning. It just changes where it's being streamed to.
Okay.
There was like a weird issue on the day because of it, where like I have to stream to them and they have to stream out.
Okay.
Or at least that's how it used to work.
You didn't just they didn't just like, here's our stream key. Like, have fun.
No, but I'm pretty sure I do have their stream key now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it used to be streaming to it because they have the 24-hour service, right? So that's always rolling, and then I push feed to them, and then when they finish a VOD, they can push my feed instead of the 24-hour VOD.
Wait, what do you mean by they just have? When you say 24-hour service, you mean like
if you go on Twitch now,
24-hour reruns?
Yeah, if you go on Twitch right now, the BTS are live. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's
just streaming it.
That means reruns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So like, I stream to them. They replace their reruns with my stream. But then at one point, something just completely died on their system. I can only assume I broke it, but I'm pretty sure they had to give me their stream key to just do it pure after that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, because yeah, I suppose people now only might associate Slime through like Ludwig if you're like a super slippy kid, but he was like in charge of like, because BTS was. Their only involvement was Summit to begin with, right? They didn't even have a separate channel. They just streamed everything through their Beyond the Summit channel.
Yeah, this is before main stage. This is before everything.
And so they would have.
I think BTS Smash would have existed around then.
Oh, at Fate, you mean, or?
Yeah, Fate was on BTS Smash.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the initial. What's it called?
When they first came in.
When they first came in, they just ran things from. They were initially like a Dota streamer, right? And so I think they might have done CS, but then they brought Smash Summit in, and Smash Summit was a big success, obviously, because we love giving our money to people that eat onions and stuff like that. So we made a lot of money for their compendium and stuff like that, and so that's why their relationship with Smash is sort of snowballed into making a bespoke channel for Smash and having bespoke people like Slime, like Aiden, like what's his face, the Falco player.
Envy.
Envy, that's the one. Nick.
Yeah.
And so.
And then every time they hire a Smash player, Ludwig pinches them.
Exactly. The what's it called? The yard crew. And so yeah, Slime would have been one of the main people in charge of BTS Smash, and that's why he approached you. That's why he ended up coming and commentating with Ludwig.
Well, so separate to that, we were like, you and Ludwig, do you want to come?
Gotcha.
So we got them over, which turned out to be like amazing foresight, totally planned.
Because Ludwig was super small back then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He wasn't like he maybe had like he was like a medium.
I'm pretty sure
streamer.
Slime was bigger than him at the time.
No way. Then Ludwig.
Because he
as
was
a streamer.
maybe not as a streamer, but as like a presence.
Okay.
Like, to me, he was certainly Slime's friend, you know? Who I
Really?
know, and I know he's a streamer, but
Yeah.
yeah, he was definitely like he wasn't a small streamer at the time, but he was very like, you know, very very possible for us to say, hey, do you want to come to Stoke-on-Trent?
Yeah. Gotcha. Because that sort of shows how crazy his growth has been. Because that was mid 2019, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. That he was sort of okay. Most are saying that he had like 1 to 2K viewers,
Yeah,
or maybe
it was-
less. But he
yeah,
was like
already-
a medium sized stream pretty
Yeah.
much. But yeah, it's sort of nuts. You sort of got. I mean, Ludwig was doing a bunch of things in Smash before then. Like he had the, I think, I don't know if the content that he made is still on his like Ludwig channel now. But he had like Ludwig Anders Gaming, if people remember
Right.
that, with like the Beethoven like profile picture, and he made like a manga rap, or maybe he like ripped off a different manga rap or something like that. It was like the what's that Kanye West rap where it's like, how does it go? It's like the new Kanye or something like this.
Yeah,
It's like it's not like an actual like song he made, but it's like
it's
a
one that
skit.
I very much resonate with. 'cause
Yeah, that one.
I missed the old
skits-
Kanye.
That's the one. I missed the old Kanye, but it's like that, but with Mango. Because Mango at the time, he was like going through some crazy losing streak. He hadn't won a tournament in like over a year. And so, yeah, I remember Ludwig made that. He made like top 10 videos and stuff like that as well, right? I think it was like a GR Smash wannabe and stuff like that. He found his market though. He made it through. Another Smash person that made it.
And we found out that like every now and again he will just talk about Stoke-on-Trent on his stream, and every time he does, someone will link it to us.
Nice.
Someone found one on his Reddit posts on like his Reddit, where like his fan base, they're also obsessed with Stoke-on-Trent now, I guess.
Really, it's like the little side view.
So I like to think
like
we put that city on the map.
The Ludwig Anders, the Ludwig, what's it called, Iceberg? Or the It's not Ludwig Agren. I don't know his full name. But the iceberg will have like lower down will be like Stoke-on-Trent somewhere,
What's it?
like floating there. But yeah, so you had them over. You had some sort of decently stylized matches. You streamed an exhibition block as well, which is notable for some reasons. But yeah, I suppose like, how did you find Fate as a tournament as a whole, and how do you feel about the result of it?
So it's hard to say because I definitely felt it was a success, right? Which is why we announced the Fate that did get cancelled by COVID, but it was successful enough that we were like, let's do that again. It was great. It was exhausting. Like the picture you posted was me on the Monday after Fate.
Yeah, this was the stream. This is the one that I used for the tweet promotion, right?
Yeah. So this is like on the way home. We went to
I'll flash that off if you don't
place.
mind. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, go for it. We went to Max's place, and while we were just hanging out, I passed out, eyes open. It was a long weekend. I think I slept like a cumulative 6 to 8 hours from the Wednesday to the Monday.
Okay. Was this looked like the, what's it called? The oh no, what have I done? Okay, let me try and fix the stream quick. Wait, I don't know if has it transitioned? Has it transitioned already?
I think you just replaced the overlay with.
I replaced the overlay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm in studio mode, so it shouldn't have transitioned. Can I actually?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So you.
No,
I think it's because you replaced the actual source itself.
Let me try and but yeah, wait.
Just replace the image back. It'll be fine. The positioning's alright.
Oh no, wait, it's back. Okay, I don't know what I did. No, I think as I put it below, I'll just put that. Okay, no, we're back, and I'll make another. I'll make another source. But yeah, so you were in Young Milf's Fate room, right? Because he didn't.
No. This is his house in Birmingham.
That's his house.
Yeah,
Okay.
he lived in Birmingham back then.
Because this looks like the, what's it called? This looks like the Stoke-on-Trent common room or whatever it's called.
I'll have to have a
Or the
look
kitchens.
at it.
It reminds me of them at least. Okay, here we go.
I'm 99% sure it was at his house.
No, I'm not surprised. I think you guys went down afterwards, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, down to Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah, there's sleepy shades for you guys. But yeah, I remember they had the red cushions as well. That's why I thought it was.
Right.
You know, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, this is your Max's house. But yeah, so it was exhausting, and
It's exhausting, but it was definitely fulfilling. Like, I'm glad we did it, and I'm sad we couldn't do Fate 2020. But it's also very hard to gauge how well the tournament went, considering I was behind a projector screen for the entire weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd poke out and see people look like they're having fun, but again, big screen in front of me, I can't really see what's going on.
Okay.
But I heard loads of good things, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I have a particularly biased point of view of my experience of Fate. I enjoyed it big time, obviously, because you know, something went well for me. But actually, that sounds weird that I say it that way. I won a Pride match, guys. If you weren't aware, but yeah. So I enjoyed it massively. I think it was a great tournament. I think from what I've heard, a lot of people. It was like the sort of Fate. The only thing I suppose the drop off was it wasn't an international tournament, right? Or it wasn't a EU-wide tournament.
It was mostly UK. We did have a lot of international attendance, but like nowhere near the proportion of UK players to Europeans was not what we expected.
Really?
Like, we still all pretty much capped. It was a little bit short.
You expected there to be more Europeans?
I think I either didn't expect there to be so many people from the UK, or I expected more Europeans. But I definitely remember being surprised at just how UK heavy this bracket was.
To be honest, because it ended up being just slightly over 200 or 250, just short of 300 maybe.
We hit like 340 people, with like 300 of those in singles, I think.
Gotcha. Because I remember, I don't even know how I remember this, and I don't know why I did this at the time, but I was just because I was more of a bracket nerd back in the day. But I think I went in like one air. Like, I just went and scrolled through all of the attendees. I was like, oh, this person's from UK, this one's from UK. Yeah, I just counted them up. And I think I counted like around 200 or between 200 and 300. So to be honest, personally, I'm not really that surprised that many people showed up for that cut.
I guess, but it's also like, it's not Air at the end of the day, right? It's the first tournament in the series.
So. Yeah.
It's like a lot of people hold judgment because it's not cheap. You know, we try and keep it as cheap as possible, but at the end of the day, you're just looking at spending like £100 on tickets, £100 on like travel and food, like. So when people when you ask them to spend that much money,
you include accommodation though, because you usually would, right? Yeah. So that's it's a skill, I suppose, but it's sort of an investment, right? That you have to make, because especially if you're like a kid or something, you know. But a young adult, because it was a 18+ tournament, right?
Indeed.
But yeah, I for the record, by the way, I have to say, like, I always thought that was like an amazing deal. It's not something that is unknown to people, but obviously having like renting out the accommodation for a uni campus is obviously a great way to save on costs, but it's also such a fun thing to do. It's like, I remember the first Air, I ended up playing with you. I think it was us, right? On the first day of Air 5, or maybe the second. It was the day after Wheelsville, right? So I think the Friday. We were just playing Air with people I've never met before till like 5 a.m. Sorry, we were playing Mafia, which was a big game at Air and Fate. Apparently, it was not played at Camp Cone, to my great disappointment.
Oh, that was a bit. I
heard there was one 30-man Mafia.
There was a massive 30.
Yeah, but I've heard it sort of died out comparatively. We need to bring that back for whatever Fate 2 or Air 6, whatever comes first. But I remember I was just playing Mafia with like, maybe, how many people were around? 10 to 15 people that I'd just never met before. A lot of UK people, albeit, but yeah, it was such a fun experience. And, you know, just being able to like hang out in people's rooms and people's kitchens is, it's just really fun.
Yeah, so, and it's something that like is definitely missing from a lot of like European events. One of my favorite events I've ever been to is B6. Yeah, okay. B6. And it's like, because everybody was in the hotel, and the hotel was opposite the playing hall. Yeah. Like, I go in there, I play games whenever I want. It's 24 hours. I leave with all the smashers to the hotel rooms. We hang out there. We come back, like, and not having that at like almost every other event, definitely, like, it just feels different, you know? Yeah. And it's having the bar set so high by Air originally definitely imprints it into you. Yeah.
I mean, Air was something special, like especially Air 5, they really sent off with like a bang with how many people that came. It's still the record for the biggest EU tournament. To be honest, I wouldn't be so. I'm optimistic about these type of things, but if that ends up being like the biggest EU tournament for a long time, if not ever, then I wouldn't be surprised. Because it was just short of like 1,000 people, right? It was around 800, I think, or
I think
700,
they hit
800.
700 and something, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, it was such a massive thing, and the international buzz from like everyone in EU just chanting for their people was crazy, and it was in that massive big top. So it's a hard thing to match, but I think you guys really, for me at least, the the same format, the same like rooms and stuff like that. It really
Yeah.
made the vibes quite similar. And so it just felt like it was Air, but like on a smaller scale,
Pretty much.
But to be honest, I mean, what type of thing were you sort of expecting for Fate 2020?
It was probably just going to be the same but bigger. We had like more space booked this time because we had proof of concept at this point, right? We had a tournament, it was successful. I think we'd raised the cap. I don't entirely remember, but like we'd announced pretty much everything about the tournament already. And then right before we sold tickets, COVID kind of got really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, for the most part, it was aiming to be what Fate was, because it was a winning formula, to be honest. People liked it. We liked it. It got a lot of people. So more of that, basically. More people. We secured more rooms. We wanted more Europeans, maybe fly out a few more guests, have like just a massive, like, Air set the bar high with the 700, but like European events don't tend to go past 200, 300 max.
I don't know what Awakening did Awakening get anything higher than Fate, or was it around the same level or slightly
that
lower?
year? I think their numbers were a bit lower, but the year before it was pretty good.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Kyran's off, Shais. So if you want to say any parting messages to your old partner, then he's just saying goodbye in chat. But,
I mean, I'm glad he was here to relive the history. I saw him again at Short Hop Pair. It was great.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, no, he sent me so much. I feel like the type of thing, like, he actually gave me a lot of information about, like, the early days. I feel like I might need to repurpose that and put it in, like, an article or something like that, because he sent me a lot of information. But, yeah, thank you so much for your help on that one, Kyran. But, so, yeah, you're talking about Fate 2020.
Yeah, so, like I said, for the most part, it was probably just going to be, like, if you liked Fate, it was going to be great. It was going to be more of Fate, but just on a bigger scale, more fun stuff. And then, like, I mean, it's hard to say. We had a lot of plans. They're all written down somewhere. A lot of them were tweeted out. Like, we were going to do cool things like the clone hero bracket and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You used, like, was that the Lucretio promotional video?
The Lucretio trailer.
Gotcha.
With the cheeky ultimate bait. That was really
fun. Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, it was pretty much, it was Fate with more, right? It was fun side events, more people. But yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, that's sick. And in terms of what ended up happening, like, what was I gonna say? In terms of it being cancelled and stuff like that, how do you still have like, is it still like on the shelf, like ready to be brought in whenever you guys are feeling that it's ready, or do you feel like you want to do a lot more development than what you had for then? Or
so we had a pretty good relationship with the venue.
Okay.
So it's not like cancelling was pretty easy. They didn't we didn't lose any money on it, thankfully.
Gotcha.
So like we're still, like, I don't know if you know Ying Ying. She's part of the Smash community, but she also works at the uni.
Yeah, she's like a lecturer for the games course that they have there, right?
Yeah. So she's still there. So all of the previous, like, kind of connections we had with the uni is still there. Whether or not we were to do another Fate is like something to look at, because obviously we're kind of in the middle of a pandemic still.
Yeah.
But like the venue was good, we still have a good relationship with them. It was in Stoke, which hurt a few people like Midori, but
yeah, it's one of those things. People are used to like traveling. I mean, this is just me being like, people call me like typical like southern London guy, but people are used to traveling like up north, like long distances for Air, right? Leicester doesn't count as the north, I guess, because it's Midlands, but
Yeah.
and neither does I think Nottingham is like on
Nottingham
the
is
border.
also borderline.
Yeah, but Stoke-on-Trent is Stoke-on-Trent north. Is that kind of north?
Pretty heart of the Midlands. Yeah.
Or is that Stoke-on-Trent is Midlands?
I'm pretty sure it's Midlands.
Okay, Staffordshire.
It might be north than I thought, but I'm pretty sure it's the Midlands.
Gotcha.
Like, very solidly.
I don't know if Staffordshire counts as either one, but yeah. So I think it's not a nuts location to. It's not like you're gonna run it in like some outer Hebridean island or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is nice that it's central. That was another big draw to it.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Because people are distributed all over the UK in terms of where the UK scene is. So
yeah, and it's like if people come in, some people fly into London, some people fly into Manchester. It's nice to just
yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. To be honest, I only thought about London being the best place in terms of international transport links, but I guess people do fly to. There are other
Birmingham's
airports.
really good too. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, because I live like right next to Heathrow as well, so all of my thinking has been in that regard has been coloured by me living in the shadow of that, massive superstructure that is Heathrow Airport. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Moving on from that, I suppose, do you guys have a time in mind? Maybe I'm sort of teasing a uncomfortable question, but do you guys have a time in mind in terms of when you might run the next fete?
I mean, before any kind of discussion on that, we'd have to see what everybody else in Europe's planning, right? But I will say that like fete team, like we did fete online over lockdown. That was a good time. While we probably wouldn't do another online tournament, maybe depending on how the situation is.
Yeah.
But like, we definitely are like a solid group at this point, right? We're like a established TO team, and we just hang out. So
nice.
It's something that on a whim, maybe one day we'll be like. Honestly, a lot of dumb decisions are done on a whim, like recreating the entirety of Stoke-on-Trent.
I was about to ask, I was about to ask about Fate World, but yeah. So
we'll put that down as a TBA. We'll see what's going on.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair, I suppose. But yeah, so is that talking about organization and coordination amongst Europe? Is that something that happens in terms of is there like a calendar where people have certain majors in mind blocked out? Because obviously we've seen HF LAN, which was a decent success. Are there, I suppose if there's nothing's been announced, because I can't really think of anything. I know there's one Norwegian tournament that's happening sometime next year, perhaps, or sometime later this year. But apart from that, yeah, it's called like Halewood or something like this, or Hollywood. I don't know if it's like Hollywood in like a Norwegian accent or something like this, but
I know that during same circuit, at least Chilok and Smash Sauna announced that they would like to do something LAN.
Okay, so those are the Finnish people?
So it's Finland and Ireland.
Okay. Shylock, yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I know that they want to host something. I don't know if they've actually booked anything yet or how their teams are progressing on that. I also don't know what the law is like in any other country. A lot of countries are more sensible and aren't allowed to host events.
Yeah.
Like the Netherlands are still in lockdown, so like they're another big Smash player.
Really? Do they not have like even locals and stuff like that in the Netherlands?
I don't think so. Like
okay.
They're one of like the big 3 or 4 in Europe, right? It's like the UK, the Netherlands, I guess like Germany and France.
France is apparently like popping up. That what's his face? Bruno, I think his name. He's like a big French YouTuber and streamer, and he did like this whole series where he spoke about all of the 5 gods. I think maybe Leffen as well.
Right.
And so it got really popular, and I think he's running like tournaments. I might be completely off base in saying that, but I think France is like really growing as a scene as a result. Someone in chat might be able
HF
to.
Lands, there was so like it sounds dumb to say there were so many French people in France, but like to see so many like people I didn't know and like random French faces at this tournament. Have we lost Hassan?
Wait, can you not hear me at all?
I hear you again. Your mic switched out and your camera's gone.
Okay, let me try and see if I can fix this. This might be a problem. But I can get myself up for this. In fact, I might just leave you here, Shais,
Okay.
and I might just put my camera up for
That's
the
cool. That's
stream.
cool.
But that's the fastest solution I can think of. Okay, there we go. But yeah, in France. So you're saying that you didn't realize there'd be that many people there?
Like, yeah, there were so many French players, and a lot of them were quite new as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, their scene is really popular. It's always been like moderately big, and like, La Franche Malais has always been like kind of legit, I guess. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
one of the few melee teams that is actually like a recognized company, as
Mm-hmm.
far as I'm aware.
Yeah, because I think in terms of French law, then they sort of have to be. I think,
Yeah, exactly.
I think I remember hearing an interview with Exil, right?
Mm.
And they were talking about how, yeah, you have to have like minuted meetings and have it regularly done because France is like really like sticky in terms of their bureaucracy, right?
Yeah.
And so legally, if they want to have an organization that runs tournaments like that, they have to have Le French Melee, which is a registered organization with a, determined structure and, people in different positions where they have regular meetings and stuff like that and everything needs to be recorded. And,
Yeah, but as a product of it, you end up with really high quality events.
Exactly.
A TO team that are kind of doing things correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, France has always been kind of huge.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I have not heard too much in terms of what Europe's planning. To be fair, I haven't really had my ear out that much either. I've been kind of taking a break since Christmas.
Okay. Fair enough.
But, things are probably looking to pick up, especially the UK is very swiftly coming out of lockdown and back into normality, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So if there was ever a time for events to start picking up again, it's now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be interesting to see. Hopefully you're not just in like a little window between Omicron and the next big super bug, which I hope is not the case. But yeah, so I was actually wondering, this is like an out of nowhere question, Chase, but in terms of because you said earlier about your ambition for Melee to be like a super big game, like what type of, oh wait, I should probably transition. I did not put my face on stream. That is that's a big blunder. But yeah, what's it called? In terms of your actual ambition for the scene, do you think something like that, having like a coordinated UK group, would work well? Because I know you guys have started by having pooled resources in the form of the CRT vault, and that's worked really well in terms of having a supply for the whole country for any like new tiers and stuff like that. But do you feel like coordination, like on a larger scale, would work as well, or is that not something that I don't know is that appealing?
Yes and no. I don't think that there was a phase where UK Melee was very uncoordinated. People were running tournaments on the same weekend or just very poorly scheduling.
Gotcha.
But I think for the most part on a local level, everything is kind of just it's kind of find a rhythm. People are hosting events in their region. A lot of regions have events now. They're all slowly coming back after lockdown. It's not just London and Birmingham. There was Bag of Melee in Bournemouth. There's obviously the Southampton tournament coming up as well. So, and Chelly's been running things up in the north. So things are coming back. And I think that people, it's less about that on a local level. I don't really know what the next big thing is for Smash. I think it is on a more grander scale. I think, yes, there are people that LLL has had a bunch of new faces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having weeklies and stuff like that is super important for growth. But I think a lot of it is finding ways to get eyes on the game and finding appeal for sponsorship. And I don't have the answer to that right now. Some will tell you it's crypto.
Yeah, I've heard that from who is it? Blur and Tafo.
Tafo's been pushing it recently.
Tafo's been pushing it, but I think Blur has a different sort of I think he said a Smash coin would be something that would just be good at getting a bunch of investment into the scene.
Right.
Although I don't know if I'm too sold on that idea, but
yeah, I mostly disagree with the idea. It sounds kind of short term. I definitely would work in the short term, but I can't see it pulling us out right? But at the end of the
Gotcha.
day, we're a game that doesn't have developer support. Like
Mhm.
Street Fighter will always grow because a new Street Fighter game comes out or new DLC comes out, advertising comes out, and they have a $50,000 tournament at the end of every year,
Mhm.
right? And they have a big stream that everyone watches it on a localized Capcom channel.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is, and we don't have that. So I'm not sure that like people who want like Melee to be like a tier 1 esport, I think it's definitely more of a dream than a reality, right? But it's
Gotcha.
definitely something. I don't think that matters. I think from what I personally want to get out of this, like if that happens, amazing, great. But what I want is the people that are here and now playing to have like a really good experience, and for us to put on the best kind of stuff we can do.
Yeah. So, would you say that's like your main goal, or in terms of growth, do you see any? Do you have anything in mind particularly, or is it just making sure that you focus on that player experience and that's your sole sort of like I don't know, what would you describe it like mission statement?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely player experience. Like I will try to get sponsorship as and when I can, right? If there is an opportunity, I will approach it and see what we can do, to see if we can do some building and some growth. But as far as I'm concerned, my main thing is I want my stream to look good, so people who are
Okay.
watching it get a good experience,
Yeah.
and people who maybe stumble across it by accident are like, "Oh, this is cool. Oh, London. I live in London. Okay, I'll turn up."
Yeah.
Right? And the player experience to come back, because at the end of the day, if they don't have fun, they're not going to come back.
Yeah, of course.
Like, yes, you need to gain players faster than you lose players, but you do need to just retain players.
That's true. Yeah.
And also, like people having fun, they bring friends. Like that is the key to growth, as far as like my concerns are. Make sure everyone here is getting the best they can get.
I see. That's interesting. I suppose like it does sort of speak to what is like the most important thing at the end of the day, right? Which is like that everyone has a fun time and that we're enjoying it with our friends. So yeah, it's interesting that you have that point of view of it, because I know like a lot of people are like, whenever I hear like Blur talking about Melee, it's always like we need to be focused on growth because that's the only thing that will keep us alive and stuff like that, you know. But he also says like he has confidence in the game surviving. I think everyone has confidence in the game surviving, right?
I mean, it's still here, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's never going to truly die I say never, not for a long time, right? Like,
I believe
people
in
will
Melee. We'll be playing it forever, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah. Like, we just got matchmaking.
Exactly. And
Right?
ranked is going to be so
ranked is
nuts. It's going to be
coming.
so like, that's going to be like, I feel like that will be like multiplicative growth for Melee in terms of what it will do for. You not think so?
I agree. I think it will be a huge influx of players, whether or not they stay around. Because that's what happened with Unranked. Loads of people picked it up, played it for like a couple days. That's really cool. Moved on with their lives. Potentially having ranked, having like people playing against people that skill, yeah, maybe they will stick around more. But it at least gets a lot of eyes on, and it will be an insane like boost for when it happens.
Yeah, not only that, but I feel like content-wise as well, it could be something special. Because I know people are talking about like, there's obviously a massive disparity between like streams that you would run, right, in terms of the viewership that would get, and people just running Melee streams in their homes, right? Like that gets like next to nothing unless you're a big streamer like Mango, but even then, he's not touching like VGBC numbers. But I remember, again, we're going back to Blur, but he gave the example of like RTZ and how he runs like his Dota streams, and apparently those get like 30k viewers, and that's not that like there's not that much of a disparity between his viewers for his home streams and for bigger tournament streams, and part of that is apparently because of the fact that the games have meaning behind them. They have stakes because there's a rank system behind it.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know how much people will like, because like Street Fighter has ranked, Dragon Ball FighterZ has ranked. All of these games have a ranked system, and their viewership's probably worse than Melee, to be honest. Maybe very similar. I don't know how much, like, maybe at like a tip-top level, but I think with StarCraft as well, and all these like tier 1 esports, a lot of people watch these games, right? They don't actually play.
Yeah.
all Melee players play Melee. All Melee viewers play Melee pretty much, right? Like, if you watch professional football, you don't play professional football.
It's true, yeah.
Right? So that's why there is a market for watching them play, like, to that level, right?
Yeah.
I know that when I play StarCraft, my hands are so slow.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I can never get like a trickle of that feeling of top level play unless I
Gotcha.
like super put work into it, right? But who does that? At the end of the day, it's like a percentage of people, right?
Mhm.
With all these like tier 1 esports, part of it is just that people are not that good at those games, but
Mhm.
also that they just enjoy watching them. Melee, like, I could watch a bit of a Melee stream, but at the end of the day, if I'm feeling Melee, I'll just go on unranked or hit someone up in Discord, right?
Yeah, for real.
So I think that's part of Melee's viewership woes, and it's why tournaments get views, because it's less about stakes, but it's more like what's happening, right? There's like storylines, there's I want to see
They
who
are
wins, I
like
want to see brackets.
games with meaning, right? I don't.
They are games with meaning, but at the end of the day, like, they matter more because there's a narrative. Tournaments are kind of stories in that they have a beginning, middle, and end, right?
Mhm.
So you can follow a tournament, and if you miss it, you will look through the bracket, right? But if you miss someone's ranked stream, you're not going to go look through through like who they beat on their ranked history. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I suppose you do care like if they get promoted to like silver to gold or something like that, though, right? I don't know. I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying, though. How there's that distinction. I guess. Yeah, it's interesting how Melee is like that, right? And by itself, like the degree of disparity is sort of like such a standout thing that yeah, it seems like at least in my mind, I don't really see it changing like massively. You know what I mean? In
For
terms
sure.
of the movement from. I don't think home streams are just going to pop off and be bigger than tournaments or anything like that.
I mean,
But
the main issue with Melee is that like people who stream Melee are making the mistake of having Melee be the main focus. Like, Melee's not a game people watch to watch you play, if that makes sense. If they want to watch Melee, they'll watch tournament, like they'll watch the top players, or they'll watch like whatever. Like, if you go on Mango stream, like there's a good chance if you click on a Mango stream, it's full camera Mango just talking about something, right? Or like him doing something silly.
yeah,
And that's
true.
what people watch. They're not there for Melee, they're there for Mango.
Gotcha.
Mango is like one of the very few streamers that will survive if Melee dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean already. I think he used to say like his viewership goes down when he plays Melee compared to like the other variety games that he should. I don't know if it's the case as much anymore, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But yeah, okay, fair enough. There are a few other things I wanted to touch on. I suppose we're talking about UK coordination. One of the things that popped up specifically after the events of the summer of 2020 was some of the things that you were doing in terms of conduct and in terms of making it so that there was a the UK Melee backroom which you set up, which would have to deal with conduct issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the backroom kind of already existed. That was just like essentially it's a Discord server where if you want to run a tournament, you say these are my dates, and if you need help, you say hi, I need help with this.
Gotcha.
That existed.
Existed on an organizational level.
Yeah, and sometimes like if there was a problem, like there have been problematic players in the past, so people would be like, I've had this issue with this player, they are banned from my events, I ask you to do the same, or whatever. But there was never any kind of formal body.
Gotcha. I've actually got a bit of a clip. Again, it's more blur content. You can see how much blur content I consume. But I'll send it to you on Discord. And I've tried to get it up on stream. Just hold off on watching it now, and we can sort of watch it together, I guess. I'll add a media source. And so obviously all credits go to the commentator's curse. Please don't like sue me or something like that. Wait, let me see if I can try and find it. Okay, wait.
Safa looks so uncomfortable in this clip.
That guy looks like he's uncomfortable a lot of the time, to be honest. Yeah, let me try. I don't know where I can. I'm having an issue with adding a media source. I suppose I could just.
If it's a file, you could just drag it into OBS.
What, really?
Just drag it
To
into the
drag it onto the
preview
screen?
and then cut to it. It will play.
Okay, that didn't work. Do I just have too many things on my screen or something?
Oh dear.
Okay, we can do it really scuffed. I'll just do like a window capture and I'll just run it on my end. Okay, let's try and do that.
In terms of the ecosystem. So there's an accountability there. And similarly, like one of the bigger issues in the community is like the conduct issues, right? Because no one wants to go out there and actually like work on it, and most people just don't want to deal with it for good reason. Like nothing get solved. Like one of my great disappointments about quote unquote Smash leadership, I don't want to call it that because no one's actually doing anything. Is that no one's doing anything about. Like I think the hidden story that I'd be ashamed to tell people outside the scene is I think we are less equipped to deal with conduct shit than we were a year ago, and that's after all the summer shit happened. And I think largely all that stuff in the summer happened, and for the most part, people just went welp, and they moved on. Nothing changed. Like I don't think anything fundamentally changed. I don't think you can like fix the evils of the world or anything, but realistically, you're supposed to like make our reactive solutions better and make our preventative ones exist, right? Like I don't know, do something. But there hasn't even been that much discussion about it. Like realistically, like there's been discussion on Twitter, but like among people who actually like need to make the changes and like they run the events, I don't think there's any like substantive stuff that happened. At least for me. So I don't know. Like that's disappointing, and I think that's where it comes. That's where the accountability comes in. It's like, look, at the end of the day, guys. Like, if all you guys want to do is run your own events, then and nothing else, and nothing more ambitious, and there's nothing more out there for y'all, then I think that's sort of shitty.
Okay, clips over. Is it over for you, Shais?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any? First of all, like, does the idea of there not being much change in terms of like conduct issues, does that like? Do you agree with it? Do you feel like it matches up to the UK experience and the EU experience as a whole, or?
So on a like a systemic level, like essentially nothing has changed really, like in the global sense, right? But I think that the average person is a lot more aware of things, and I think it's overall brought us to a safer point in the community, if you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like people were willing to just overlook dodgy behavior before, right? Whereas now that they've kind of seen the whole with the summer of 2020, people tend to be keeping a bit of a more watchful eye out. UK wise specifically, we've not really had too much happen since then. There's been a few events, but not a crazy amount. The player safety panel does exist now, which I think is pretty good. Well, like I'm not saying it doesn't have its own issues, but the fact that it exists has been useful. It's given people that didn't have anywhere to go somewhere that they can direct their like safety concerns.
Okay. Just to stop you there, Shais, is there like, I'm not sure if many people are aware of like its existence and stuff like that. So if someone would like to report like a conduct issue, then how would they go about doing that?
So the main, I'll find a link for you later, but what I do need to do is have this more publicly available actually. But right now it's just on the Twitter page for the Melee Backroom. Okay. There's a form you can fill out. If you do that, it pings the team, and then they will be raised aware, or you can message anyone who's on the team.
Okay.
And then they'll bring it up.
I'll be sure to put all of that in the YouTube description and Spotify description, all that stuff. But yeah, sorry, I actually cut you midway through your point there.
So yeah, essentially it's just, I guess the main issue with kind of safety is people don't often have anywhere to voice their concerns. Mm-hmm. Like if they feel comfortable enough, they'll bring it up to their local TO, and then their local TO can mention it to all the other TOs, and then if anything happens, it happens. But yeah, the whole point of this is it allows you to, there's like a list of people, and if you feel comfortable confiding in any of those people or all of those people, you can do so. If there's anyone you don't feel comfortable with, you can even omit those. And then yeah, discussions can be had. You can talk to them. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a personal basis, right? Depending on what your situation is. But there's something there. While it is pretty slow and at the end of the day pretty powerless, it at least raises an awareness, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of the how would I describe it? I've heard of other initiatives going on. For example, in Ultimate, I know there's a lot of a push to get people just ultimately like quite basic. How do I describe it? Safeguarding courses, right? In terms of, I don't think they're preferred by like the NSPCC or something like this, but to have that like be more widespread throughout the UK TOs in Ultimate. I know like a lot of people on Team Fate, for example, have had a lot of training in that, have had a degree of training in that regard, whether it's first aid, and you've also had safeguarding. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I don't know if all of us have, but a lot of UK TOs for Melee as well have also had safeguarding training,
Okay.
or at least to a basic level. At the end of the day, like it's kind of a weird situation, because if you are running a tournament, you do have a slight implied responsibility to like of the welfare of all your attendees. But you have to also consider like most people aren't running a tournament because they want to like keep doing it. Like there are people like long-standing people, like, you know, like I've done hundreds of events at this point, right? So it's fair enough to assume of me to be more considerate of kind of safety issues. But some people just want to run an event in their local area, right?
Yeah, you're definitely the exception rather than the norm, aren't you?
Yeah, there's like a handful of us, but like it's not something that you naturally think of, and it's not really something that's fair to put on someone on top of all the learning how to TO stuff.
You think so? Okay.
But I think that what there should be is some kind of guideline that they can use, right? I think that's kind of one of the biggest benefits of the player safety panel, at the very least, is like they will be made aware of any safety. I forget the word for it, but if someone is potentially a safety risk, they will be made aware of it. And that's like, you know, I've had people come to my tournaments back in the day, and people were like, "Oh, I can't believe you let them there. They're a horrible person." And I'm like, "How was I supposed to know? Like, no one's told me this."
Yeah.
And even then, like, I'm just a guy. I'm just running an event. I'm not like, I'm not trained. I'm not equipped. I'm just doing this, you know, from my local area and whatever. But like, obviously, yeah, the more you stick around, like, the more you become a bit obligated to worry about that. So it's kind of a weird thing. But the problem is, it is nobody's job. Like right now, there is no one who is in charge of it.
Gotcha.
And so people do take it upon themselves, and that's kind of, again, the nature of Melee, right? Like,
it's a bit of a Wild West situation in terms of, what's it called? Governance in the past, at least. I don't know if it's moving in more of a unified direction, but...
Yeah, but it's kind of like the people who are qualified to do this kind of thing probably don't have time to be doing Melee.
Gotcha.
And people who are doing Melee probably aren't qualified and probably don't really have time to put that... Like, most Melee TOs have full-time jobs, right? And in their spare time, they plan the tournament. And then when you then throw on safeguarding stuff on top of that, it's rough, and there's no framework for them. That is probably what Blur is talking about, how there is no thing. And he's right, there needs to be something there. But the problem is there's not many people who can take that. And I hope someone rises up, but like, for now, it's just on a local level. We look out for each other and we do what we can, right?
Gotcha, yeah.
I do think one kind of saving grace is, like, while there are a lot of rotten apples, for the most part, most melee players are good people, or at least, you know, nice and not out to get you.
Of course.
The
yeah.
scene itself is pretty safe, and like, especially compared to other scenes, it's definitely one of like the more progressive and like the ones that will look after you, right?
Yeah, I'd certainly say that about the UK.
Like the UK more than the UK is an example of that in Melee, but Melee is an example of that in the world, right?
Oh, true, of course as well. Yeah, definitely the median Melee player is definitely more on the more progressive end than say like a member of the population, right?
Yeah. But like I don't know. I guess I've always felt like an inherent kind of, when I first started joining the scene, I felt an inherent kind of safety. I never felt like I was, you know, that people were out to get me or I was in danger or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, it's good to have support networks for people who do feel like that. But it's a very weird situation. I'm probably not qualified to talk on it either. That's the problem. It's a very...
I mean, you had a very prominent role in terms of dealing with it in the past, right? And you're one of those main people behind the creation of the back room, right? So I think your opinion, it definitely matters to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But in terms of, it does sound like you're currently not content with the way it exists. And you do sort of raise the dilemma of changing it. And so
like,
yeah.
The UK backroom is a more specific example, one that I could talk of.
Okay.
It, at the end of the day, is a group of people who are taking on a large emotional burden in their free time, right?
Yeah.
And
it's crazy when you put it that way, but
yeah. And at the end of the day, they are pretty much legally powerless. There's like weird legal ramifications of banning someone, right? Like, you know, whenever players, there's always like the player who gets banned and tries to lawyer up.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard about that. It's, to put it briefly for people who are listening, when you incorporate like that, or when you make a group of people who pass it down a ban like that, you become, from what I've heard in the consultations, I believe that Cone and GG have done it independently of each other with lawyers. I've heard that you become part of what's called an unincorporated association or something like this. And so, means that even if you're not like intending to be a body, then through you passing down a decision like that, you become a body in the eyes of the law, which makes it hard to enforce. Like,
yeah, it's definitely a messy
like
situation, especially when you consider like international laws, right? Because like the player safety panel itself, they don't ban anybody. They are a place for you to talk if you have concerns, and they will try to provide help and support, and they will help you like make, if you come to me with like something that needs to be spoken about, and I'll talk to it with the rest of the panel. If we determine that like this is definitely like not on, like this can't be happening, we need to do something about it. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, pretty much all we can do is tell TOs, don't let this person come to your tournament. We can't stop you. You're welcome to. But like at the end of the day, it becomes a TO's decision. And
yeah,
I think it's something I've got better at, but is definitely not easy as a starting TO.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say no.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if you're the kind of person to pick this up for the community. Like,
Of
you're
course.
someone who wants to do, like, to, you know, you're someone who wants to give, right? So it's surprisingly hard to tell someone you cannot come to my tournament, especially when you don't have personal beef with them.
Yeah.
You know? And again, it's a skill you definitely pick up. And something you have to be able to do. But especially for a new TO, that's kind of hard. But like, especially for like bigger scale events, I guess is the main thing that this whole like the blur video is
in terms
about.
of what you described, like you sort of raise the potential issues of, you know, a body, like you guys can't officially ban someone. But in terms of the efficacy of it, it is essentially saying we can't coordinatedly ban, say, this person, you're banned. But as individuals, like if you're a TO, you ultimately have full power over whoever comes to your event, right?
Yeah.
And so if you want to, you can say you're not allowed. And across the UK, like now that you have all TOs and, you know, a similar space in the background that you described, then it does seem quite effective to be able to just say, you're not able to come, and for everyone to say the same thing in unison pretty much, right? So
Yeah.
it does do the effect of banning in, almost the exact
It's legally
amount of
distinct, but
effective.
has the same effect.
Exactly, yeah. So it doesn't seem like we're in too much of a rough position in that regard.
Yeah. But again, it's a very weird grey area where, like, okay, let's say, you're running huge event, you're running Genesis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you can do all you can to provide safety at your event, but like, what do you do as soon as they're out the doors, right? They're not in your jurisdiction anymore. I can't stop someone being assaulted at the hotel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's only so much I can do. I don't know where they're staying. Obviously that's the kind of nice thing about residential as well, right? We have a log of where everybody is and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
So are you saying now that part of the reason for your, apprehension or insecurity when it comes to dealing with that is because of, it's only so far that your, what's it called, responsibility stretches, and does that seem like it's a
more that,
concern
like,
in your eyes?
when I say, like, that's less of a responsibility issue. It's like, I can ban someone from my event, but what if they turn up to the hotel everyone's staying at? Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's only so much one person can do.
Yeah, of course.
And there's, like, even a formal body, if it was to form, like, I mean, first of all, I can't imagine that happening, unfortunately. But, like, again, yeah, what do you do if they just turn up to the hotel? You ask the hotel to tell them to leave. If they've bought a room, now what? The hotel aren't going to kick them out, right?
Yeah.
So the issue of safeguarding stretches kind of, especially if you look at, like, the events of summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of that stuff really happened at events. Some of it happened at hotels during events. Some of it happened, like, in their personal lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? In like, as much as it kind of hurts to say, like, what can you do? How do I know
Yeah.
what someone's doing in their personal life?
And to be honest, like, in terms of actually coming up with solutions, like, to these type of issues, like, it is important to, like, whenever you set out to do something, you need to be able to distinguish, like, this is what we're able to deal with and this is what we're not able to deal with, right? So, like, I think it's important to know, like, there are certain things that our jurisdiction can't reach. But in having those sort of preventative solutions for things that come near our scene, I think it can sort of be a deterrent to
Yeah,
sort of
sure.
potential action like that. So I think
Well,
there
yeah,
is
it's like,
sort of, we might
sorry
not
to
be
cut
able
you
to...
off,
Yeah, sorry,
but
go ahead.
it's like how, like, Fate was 18 plus.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, that's a small thing we can do that is safe. It adds safety, right?
Yeah,
We know people are going to be drinking. We know people are going to be rowdy. Make it 18 plus.
yeah,
Again, that means it doesn't mean we can't stop anything horrible happening, horrible happening, but it does mean that we can be preventative and help where we can. Right?
And the same thing goes for the little other things that came after lockdown in terms of weeklies having age caps and having to have a guardian if you're under the age, and it not being allowed to house or have people over for a smash fest if they're under 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's sort of we are moving in that direction, at least if it's not on a grand orchestrated scale, right?
For sure.
Yeah, I
If
suppose.
you think the little things is what we need, right? The little things is what we can do, and it ultimately does help make events safer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, at the end of the day, it's a community thing, right? We are a massive community, and kind of just have to watch out for each other.
Yeah, I suppose. Apart from that, moving on to, like, the future, we've spoken a little about the next fate and the next things you have in mind. Are there any other things that you're sort of interested in, or are there any other potential opportunities that you think you might get involved in, whether it's melee wise or outside of melee?
I mean, to be fair, like, a lot of things this year are a bit up in the air. Things are being planned, but, like, right now in terms of melee, my plans are pretty much we're bringing everything back, right, slowly and safely. Like, events are coming back, so right now my focus is probably on myth.
Okay.
But there are also smaller events, like, like there's Shafted in the next week,
Yeah.
and then Bunnyhood 2 weeks after
Can you
that.
tell us a little about Shafted, actually? Maybe a little rundown on what's going on there.
Sure. I mean, if you want a full breakdown, you can check out Jaysotee's Twitter, but it's essentially just 4 people invited who were not on the last PR, which is Yuo, Ica, Lil Chief, and I can see their face and I can't remember their name.
Wait, who is it? Yuika. Wait, did you say Squeechu?
And Squeechu. I didn't say Squeechu.
There you go.
So they were invited as people who were not on the last PR, and then they invited people based on like
Different categories, yeah.
Yeah, so like someone they lost to, blah blah blah. There's graphics on Fraser's Twitter.
You can check out. What is it? Just at Jaysotee?
I believe so.
Twitter, yeah. Okay.
You can see who the invitees are on the format, or you can watch it on twitch.tv/Phoenix Smash next week.
Is it next week? Wow. Yeah, actually, February 12th, right? If I remember correctly. And so, do you feel like that opens up the scope for potential invitationals in the future, or is that something that...
I think it could be cool. That's definitely like something that's easier to run with COVID because they're smaller, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of we'll see what happens. This is something new, so we'll see if it opens some doors. Yeah, I think people are definitely interested in it. And if it goes well, then yeah, of course there'll be more, right?
Yeah. Okay, moving on from that, I just don't want to keep you too long today, so we've got some questions that were submitted by people on the Google form. I suppose if anyone's got some super pressing questions, then they can drop them in chat. But we've got... I'm surprised we've got quite a few. We've got 7 questions. Okay, so we'll rattle through them. This one's from an anonymous person. They haven't mentioned who they are. But they said, being someone who's been around for a good few years, how has the UK... Oh, this is actually quite a broad question. But being someone who's been around for a good few years, how much has the UK scene changed over time? And how do you think it will be changing going into 2020?
Going into 2020?
Oh, sorry, 2022. 2022. Sorry, I misread that. It wasn't the person that asked the question. It was on me. But yeah.
Sure. So I think the essence of the scene is still there. There's definitely a unique feeling of the UK scene, and I don't think it's completely shifted. I do think one very notable thing is we're actually, as a country, good at the game now, which we weren't before.
True. Yeah.
Like Prof was good, Fuzzy was good, VA was good. Yeah,
pretty much.
The line kind of starts there.
Yeah.
But now if you look at like our players, we've got multiple top 100, maybe even top 50 players at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the scene itself is good at the game, which I think has kind of pushed a lot of the mid-level people to try and get a little better too. If you look at like the level of like a London Weekly, right, it's kind of insane. So I think the focus has kind of shifted more a little bit to the competitive side recently, whereas before people were like, oh, I'm going to meet up with my mates, gonna have a few drinks, gonna have a fun time. Whereas now people are actually trying, people are getting coaches. So I think that's kind of the main shift. And yeah, Slippy as well. People were able to grind on netplay now. People who didn't have good internet or good computers can play Slippy online.
Definitely, yeah.
So the game's way more accessible. People can grind more. I think that's the biggest change. People are more that way inclined.
Yeah. Yeah, coaches are sort of nuts the way it sort of popped off. It's like its own industry now. I remember like the best advice I'd be able to get is like, you know, if you'd have like your old local PR player, it'll sort of be like mystical in a way, you know what I mean? In that you had someone that had the old knowledge and could give it to you. But yeah, now it's sort of a bigger thing. So the next question is, a name hasn't been added to this, but I'll say it anyway. Who was the best person you lived with at uni, and why was it me? So I suppose you can only guess who that might have been that put that question in. But
I didn't live with any smashers at uni.
Really?
So I can only assume that's Matt, who's not a smasher.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, is Matt the guy that you always retweet once in a while, going like, what does he say? Like,
let's get
crunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Matt.
Funny dumb thing with Matt is he at one point decided to sign all of my stuff, and I still find his signature on random boxes and stuff today.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. Okay. We've got a couple questions. There's a guy called Harry that asked quite a few. how have you transitioned the? Have you handled the transition from small streamer to big streamer? Shais, anything you have to say about it? I mean, we sort of touched on it.
Yeah,
But...
I mean, it kind of just happens.
Mm.
Like, at the end of the day, right? Streaming a small tournament and streaming a big tournament is just a test of stamina.
Okay.
Like, all of the work is put into making it, to prepping the stream. Running the stream is, you know, press a few buttons on the day. Like, it's just how long you go for. So, it's so much easier to go from running a 30-person tournament to a 300-person tournament than it is to make your first stream look good.
Wow. Okay. That's fair enough.
I guess the main thing is like scheduling, though. Scheduling has got tighter, which has really helped.
Oh, well, oh, you mean like your ability to do that in general, in terms of your skills?
Well, like more that before a stream would just kind of happen, and I just wing it on the day.
Gotcha.
But to do bigger scale events, I know what order a top 8 is going to be played. I know that I want winners quarters to happen before we do losers games, and doing stuff like that. Yeah, it's a bit of format that makes my life on the day easier because I know what's next.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would help. Harry also asks, how important is production quality on a stream, on a Melee stream? How do you feel about that? You said that you always try to push it in terms of making it the highest quality you can. But
my answer is yeah. I think it's super important because it's what you see, and it's like it's 100 people come to your tournament, but 1,000 people watch it. You know, like so. In many ways, the stream is one of the more important things, but also like if people don't like the event, they won't come back. But the honest answer is like not really. Like,
to be fair, yeah, go
game
on.
feed, who really cares, right?
To be fair, like that point that you just made really stuck with me in terms of the 100 people coming and 1,000 watching, because you can think about how much of the big example in Melee is like Apex 2015, right, where no one liked it in terms of it, like it was a actual like dumpster fire in terms of the actual attendance because they lost their venue and all of that stuff. But it's the tournament that sticks in everyone's mind as being like so enigmatic of that era. Ended up being the first tournament to break 100,000 viewers concurrently on Twitch as well. So you can really just from that get a picture of how important streams can be. Harry again asks, what's the biggest challenge you've faced as a streamer?
A funny answer is waking up on the morning of the event.
Okay.
Serious answer might also be waking up on the morning of the. I don't know. It's just keeping up with the tech and also like, I'm not a professional broadcaster, right? Like that's not my trade. That's not what I studied. But through streaming Smash, I'm kind of slowly, kind of incorporating things that I'm supposed to be. I'll still do things my own way because I prefer them, but like there are certain broadcast standard things that I will slowly be incorporating in if I feel they're appropriate. And I guess that would be it.
Gotcha. And I think this is the last Harry question. Do you know a Harry is? I don't know a Harry.
I mean, Harry could be J-Bros, but these questions seem too serious.
Wait, isn't J-Bros Jack?
Maybe? Don't worry about it.
Wait, what? Okay, fair enough. I'm so confused. Okay, fair enough. I guess
I mean, Harry's a common name. It could be anybody.
Gotcha. So not Harry asks this question, apparently. What's the hardest part about getting up in the morning? Is it the first action of sitting up?
100% J-Bros.
Is it not lying in bed after a shower? Or something else, question mark?
I don't know, once you shower, it's easy. Right? A shower wakes you up. It's
do
100%...
people go to bed after shower? That seems a bit manky, to be honest.
I need to not watch a video when I wake up.
Mood, yeah. That's so true.
If I watch a video, I will either stay in bed all day or pass out immediately.
Yeah.
That's got to be the hardest part about waking up.
There's been times where I've sort of like had a podcast on, like I just tap it like midway through my sleep, and as I'm waking up, and I just go back and I'm waking up to like that podcast still going on. It's disgusting. But it's actually shameful. I don't even know why I said that. I find it quite shameful that I should share that on the internet. But yeah. So Akon asks, what's your favorite Vine or 6-second video kind?
Oh no, that's a hard one to do on the spot. I have a. I say I have a folder of them. What I really have is my WhatsApp conversations with my cousin, where we just keep
Gotcha.
sending each other the same videos.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
Right now, I'm thinking of the one where, the clip of Spider-Man on a motorcycle on a bicycle kicking someone.
Okay.
That's a very.
Is
funny
that
one.
Japanese Spider-Man or something?
No, but Japanese Spider-Man's great too. Let me see if I can.
It
find
seems like there's type of zany thing that would come out of. Is it an official Spider-Man thing?
No.
Is it
It's
one
like
of the
from
MC or?
PTA.
Yeah, I was about to think. I was thinking it's not. It's gonna be some sort of scuffed Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah. That's a pretty funny one.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
I don't know. I'll definitely. I'll
You'll get back to
Sorry,
me.
I just found a video of Spider-Man kicking someone off a bridge. I'll find them. I'll probably start tweeting them out. There's some.
Okay. And speaking of that, Westers asks, why does your Twitter go so hard? This will be off.
I mean that some would say it's full. It's phases. I like posting funny.
Shais, I'm
sometimes.
serious. You know that thing that you posted about
The
or
Spider-Man
TikTok?
thing, right?
You need to put it on TikTok. I'm serious. I see things like that on TikTok. It gets like 200k views, 200k,
Do you
200k
actively use
likes.
TikTok?
Yeah, I use it like every day.
Okay. If I give you permission to reshare it, should we see if it actually gets any?
Sure. I mean, I could try. You want me to put it on my one?
I mean, I don't have one, so you're welcome to
Okay.
post it if you feel like it will have great success on TikTok.
Sure, I'll give it a go. It can be hit or miss. It's sort of like luck of the draw, right?
Yeah,
But
right. It's just you got to get seen by a couple of people,
yeah.
and then it just spirals out. of
But
control.
if that does get seen by people, like, to be honest, No Way Home came out it's past the hump, right, of the interest. But
Yeah.
TikTok was filled with No Way Home stuff, and people are still like fangirling over Andrew Garfield now. So yeah,
Sure. That movie
Um,
sucks.
I have no idea. Oh, what No Way Home? Really? Is that your opinion?
No, it's fine.
Where does it
It's-
go on the ranking? Because I listened to your ranking. You did a little ranking of because Shais, if anyone's not aware, is like really into. I was about to say that you're really into like Spider-Man and like the Sam Raimi movies in particular, but you're really into Marvel as well, right? You like your
mostly.
Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I grew up on it, so.
Yeah.
Where does it go in the ranking? I think it goes.
Is it better than the TASMs?
It's probably like equal, maybe slightly better than TASM 1.
Okay. That's nuts to me.
But I think it's the best of the new Spider-Man movies, but it's not good.
Gotcha. Wait, do you feel like I'm not even gonna... I've kept you for long enough, so I'm not gonna make this a Spider-Man discussion. But yeah, aside from that, was there anything else I wanted to ask? I suppose if anyone has anything, you can speak now or forever hold your peace. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to ask. Nothing else really comes to mind. I really want to say thank you. I mean, is there something you want to say, Shais? Or something that you thought I would have asked you that I haven't asked you?
No, but I am impressed with how much stuff you found. Some of those old pictures I've not even thought about in years. Oh my
That's
god!
right. I can send them all to you. There's no issue.
Yeah, go for it.
But yeah, no. I definitely the same thing with like the Moby interview I did. I definitely like to put a lot of effort into these type of things. And who knows if you've made it to the end of this, if you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, then thank you for listening through what has become a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, good luck to future Hassan who's attempting to edit this down.
I'll try to sort of. I'll probably cut out that bit where I was like fumbling over the video. Apart from that, though, we normally just put the VODs up straight.
Sure.
We just download it from Twitch and just put it out. But yeah. Apart from that, thank you to everyone who I approached. I hope it doesn't like break some sort of journalistic integrity if I reveal who I spoke to. So I spoke to your cousin Humzah, who spoke to me.
It's just a Humzah.
Yeah, he told me about Beyblade and PS1. That's why.
Nice. I thought that was a deep cut. I had
Yeah.
no idea where you'd get that from.
No, I spoke to him. He told me a lot about the early fighting game stuff that you did together, that you played, growing up. And so that was a big help. If anyone wants to follow him, you can find he does Spider-Man comics himself, or he does a lot of comics himself, right? And does a lot of
Yeah,
art.
he does a bunch of art stuff as well.
So you can find him at his run on Twitter or his. This is a hard Twitter handle. It's Wreath, which is like WRTHREEH.
It's just red, but with a 3.
Wait, what's that?
It's WR3H.
Oh yeah, it's WR3H, exactly. Oh, it's like his name.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
his Twitter name.
It's
Okay, so
spelt out instead of.
it's WR3H. if you want to look at his art, I suppose. Thank you also to Kyran, who I approached. He gave me a lot of information and gave me some of those pictures. Thank you to Megan, thank you to Fraser, and thank you to Goo. Also, thank you to Nebs, who gave me a little bit about the work that you did with him in terms of London TOing. And yeah, I really appreciate everyone who has been so informative in terms of helping me with my research, and thank you for everyone that came here today to watch. Thank you everyone who tunes in, for everyone that tunes into SharpEngine. You can find us on RSS feeds, on YouTube, and also on Spotify, and that should be on my pinned tweet. Like, there's a bunch of links in the replies to my pinned tweet, so you can find me at JMooncake. You can follow Shais on the often mentioned on this throughout this podcast. You can find him on twitch.tv/Phoenix Smash, and you can also follow him at Shais Young. And yeah, apart from that, do you think there's anything I missed, Shais?
No, you were surprisingly thorough.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, apart from that,
good job anyone who made it through this whole thing.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, have a good day, and we'll see you next episode. Hopefully Sharp will show up for that one. If not, then I might just continue doing these interviews. But
Nice.
Yeah, if there's anyone you'd like me to interview, or you got any feedback on the show, then feel free to shoot that to me on Discord and Twitter or whatever. So yeah, apart from that, thanks everyone for watching. Have a great night, sleep tight, all that business, and bye. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
See you at a tournament maybe. Bye.